Here you are, lying in the quiet dark. The day is done. The house is still, and your body is calling for rest. A deep and final release into slumber. Yet, your mind has other plans. It feels like a restless river, thoughts churning and swirling, carrying the debris of the day that has just passed, and pulling you into the anxious currents of the day that has not yet arrived. Conversations are replayed, moments are dissected, and a silent list of worries and tasks for tomorrow is written and rewritten against the dark canvas behind your eyes. There is a deep weariness in your bones, but a frantic energy in your head, a chasm between the rest you need and the state you are in. You might feel a sense of frustration, a quiet desperation. You might tell yourself to just stop thinking, to force your mind into submission. But this struggle only makes the current stronger. It is a strange and painful paradox that the harder you try to grasp sleep, the more it slips through your fingers. Please know, this is not a personal failing. It is not a sign that you are broken. It is simply the condition of a mind trained for a busy world. A mind that has learned to solve, to analyze, to plan, and to protect. It has served you well all day. But now, in the sacred quiet of the night, it simply does not know how to turn itself off. But what if there was a different way, a path that does not involve fighting, or forcing, or struggling? What if, instead of trying to dam the river of thoughts, you could simply learn to sit peacefully on its bank and watch it flow by? What if, instead of demanding silence, you could learn to listen to the deeper stillness that already exists beneath all the noise? This is the path of letting go. It is an ancient wisdom, a gentle art that has been passed down through generations, born from the deep insights of Buddhist philosophy, not as a religion to be followed, but as a profound science of the mind, a practical guide to finding peace right in the middle of life's chaos. Tonight, we are not going to fight the mind. We are going to befriend it. We are not going to chase sleep. We are going to create a gentle, welcoming space for it to arrive, all on its own. This is an invitation to stillness, an invitation to come home to yourself and to find the profound peace that is waiting for you in the simple, powerful act of letting go. And so, you have accepted the invitation. You are here, in the stillness, ready to begin this journey of letting go. The first step on this path is perhaps the most simple and the most profound. It is the step of meeting what is already here, without any agenda to change it. Let your attention gently settle, and for a moment, just notice the quality of your own mind. Is it quiet and calm, like a still lake at dawn, or is it busy, active, full of movement and sound? If you are like most of us, especially at the end of a long day, you will likely find that a guest has arrived in the room of your mind, an uninvited guest who paces back and forth, talking endlessly, showing you images from the day and whispering worries about tomorrow. This guest is the racing mind. In the traditions of Zen, this is often called the monkey mind. It is a perfect description, Picture a monkey in a great tree, never still for a moment. It leaps from one branch to another, grabbing a fruit here, chattering at a bird there, suddenly remembering a branch far below and swinging down, only to be distracted by a sound in the distance and leaping upwards again. This is our mind. It jumps from a memory of a conversation at work to a sudden itch on your foot. It leaps to a worry about a bill that needs to be paid, then swings to the faint sound of a car passing outside. It is restless, chaotic, and seemingly untamable. For many years, you may have treated this monkey mind as an enemy. You may have tried to shout at it, to command it to be still. You may have tried to build a cage for it, to lock it up so you can have some peace. But what has been the result of this battle? You have likely discovered a frustrating truth. The more you fight a thought, the more powerful it becomes. The more you try to suppress the monkey, the louder and more frantic it gets. It is like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. You can do it for a little while, with immense effort and strain. But the moment your concentration wavers, the ball erupts to the surface with even greater force than before. Resisting a thought is like wrestling with a shadow. It has no substance, yet it perfectly matches your every move, draining your energy in a pointless struggle. This is because the energy of resistance is still a form of attention. When you say to yourself, "I must not think about that stressful email," the email is placed right at the center of your awareness. You are feeding the very thing you wish to starve. The command, "Do not think of a pink elephant," makes the image of a pink elephant unavoidable. So tonight, we will try something radically different. We will not fight. We will not suppress. We will not struggle. We will simply acknowledge. We will change our relationship with this uninvited guest. Instead of seeing it as an intruder, we will see it simply as a guest, a visitor who has shown up. The first step is to gently and kindly acknowledge its presence. As a thought arises, instead of being swept away by it, you can create a small, powerful gap of awareness by mentally noting very softly, thinking, or here is a thought. You don't need to judge the thought, analyze it, or follow it. You are simply noticing that it has appeared. It is like sitting by the side of a road, and instead of jumping onto every car that passes, you simply note a red car, a blue truck, and let them drive on. When a worry about the future appears, notice it. A thought of worry. When a memory from the past floats up, notice it. A memory. There is no judgment in this. A memory is not better or worse than a worry. They are both just events in the mind, like clouds passing in the sky. By doing this, you begin to create a space between you, the calm, silent observer, and the thought, which is the object of your observation. In this space, there is peace. In this space, you are not the thought. You are the awareness that is aware of the thought. This is the beginning of true freedom. You are not the monkey. You are the tree in which the monkey plays. You are not the storm. You are the sky that holds the storm. There is an old story that illustrates this perfectly. In a forest, a hunter once made a trap for a monkey using a sticky black tar, shaped like a small doll. A young, curious monkey came along and saw this strange, dark figure sitting at the base of a tree. "Hello," chattered the monkey. The tar baby, of course, did not reply. The monkey became irritated. "Answer me," he shrieked, and he punched the tar baby with his right hand. His hand became stuck fast in the sticky tar. "Let me go," he screamed, and he tried to push it away with his left hand, which also became hopelessly stuck. In a panic, he kicked it with his right foot, and his right foot was trapped. He kicked with his left foot, and his left foot was also caught. Finally, in a desperate, last-ditch effort, he headbutted the tar baby, and his head became completely stuck. He was utterly immobilized, trapped not by the strength of his opponent, but by his own struggle. He exhausted himself, fighting and writhing, until he could move no more. This monkey is our mind when it encounters a difficult thought or a persistent worry. The tar baby is the thought itself. It has no power on its own. It is just a sticky, passive thing. But our reaction, our struggle, our hatred of it, our desperate attempt to push it away, that is what gets us stuck. We punch it with our anger. We kick it with our aversion. We get our whole being entangled in the very thing we wish to escape, until we are immobilized by our own resistance. The story teaches us that the way to freedom is not through more struggle. The way to freedom is to stop fighting. It is to relax around the stickiness, to allow the thought to be there, without giving it the energy of your resistance. So now, as you lie here, see if you can apply this wisdom as a thought arises in your mind. Perhaps a sticky worry. See it as a tar baby. Notice the automatic impulse to fight it, to push it away, to get stuck in it. And then, see if you can do something different. Can you relax your hand? Instead of forming a fist to punch it, can you soften your belly? Instead of tensing up to kick it away, you don't have to like the thought. You don't have to agree with it. You just have to stop fighting it. You just have to allow it to be there. In the vast, open space of your awareness, you will find that when you stop struggling, the thought loses its power over you. It may still be there, but it no longer holds you captive. It is just a sticky doll at the base of a tree, and you are the free monkey who can choose to simply walk away and climb another branch. This is the practice, moment by moment. A thought arises. You notice it. You feel the pull to get stuck. You choose to soften instead. You are learning to be the spacious, silent witness to the mind's activity. You are discovering that you are not the endless chatter of the uninvited guest. You are the quiet, peaceful room in which the guest appears. You are the silence that holds the sound. This awareness is your refuge. It is always here, always available, waiting patiently beneath the noise. Stay with this feeling for a while. The feeling of being the space, not the content. The feeling of being the watcher, not the thinker. Now that we have met this uninvited guest, this monkey mind, and learn not to fight with it. We can take the next step. We can begin to look gently at the things it carries, the stories it tells. So often, this guest arrives with its arms full of baggage from the past. It wants to show you everything that happened today, and yesterday, and last year. It wants you to reread every page and relive every moment. And so, our next step on this journey of letting go is to learn how to gently relieve this guest of its burden, to let it set down the immense weight of yesterday's water. We have met the restless mind, not as an enemy to be conquered, but as a guest to be acknowledged. We have learned to stop struggling, to stop feeding its frantic energy with our resistance. Now, with this newfound sense of gentle awareness, we can begin to look at the heavy baggage this guest so often carries into the quiet of our bedroom. More often than not, this baggage is filled with the past. It is filled with the unchangeable events, the finished conversations, and the closed chapters of the day that is now over. The mind, in its habitual way, unpacks these items one by one, holding them up to the dim light for endless inspection. Think of the past as water that has already flowed under a bridge. It has moved on, continuing its journey to the great ocean. It is gone. Yet, the mind often behaves like a person who runs down to the riverbank, scoops up this old, murky water, and insists on carrying it back home. We carry the weight of yesterday's water in heavy buckets, sloshing it around in our minds. We analyze its contents. We regret its temperature. We resent the rocks that disturbed its surface. We do this with our own day. We replay a conversation, thinking, I should have said this, or why did they say that? We dwell on a mistake, a moment of awkwardness or failure, and feel the heat of embarrassment or the sting of regret as if it were happening right now. We hold on to a slight, a perceived injustice, and the bitterness becomes a poison we willingly drink, hoping someone else will feel its effects. This act of mental replay, this carrying of yesterday's water, is a form of clinging. It is the mind's refusal to accept that what is done. This clinging, this attachment to what has already passed, is a primary source of our suffering. The original event may have caused a brief moment of pain, but it is our continuous mental rehearsal of it that creates enduring anguish. It is the infamous second arrow spoken of by the Buddha. The first arrow is the event itself, an unkind word, a project that fails, a moment of clumsiness. This arrow strikes, and it hurts. Such is life. But the second arrow is the one we shoot into ourselves. It is the arrow of our reaction, the endless brooding, the self-criticism, the obsessive analysis, the righteous indignation. Why did this happen to me? I can't believe he said that. I am such a failure. This second arrow is far more painful, and its poison lasts far longer than the first. The past itself is gone. It has no power to touch you now. It is a ghost. The only thing that gives it power is your own mind, giving it a home in the present moment, allowing it to haunt the sacred space that is your now. So, how do we set down these heavy buckets? How do we pull out this second arrow? We do it through the gentle, conscious act of release. We can begin with a simple visualization. bring to mind the river we spoke of, a gentle, steadily flowing stream. Now, picture yourself sitting peacefully on its bank. Take one event from your day that feels heavy. One conversation. Una mistake. One moment of frustration. See it clearly in your mind. Now, imagine placing that entire event onto a single, strong, green leaf. See the leaf holding the memory, the emotion, the entire scene. And now, very gently, place that leaf onto the surface of the stream. Do not throw it. Do not push it. Simply release it and let the current take it. Watch as it begins to float away from you. It may swirl in an eddy for a moment, but the current is persistent. It carries the leaf further and further downstream. You just sit on the bank, watching. You follow it with your eyes until it becomes a small speck in the distance. And then it disappears around a bend. It is gone. It has been returned to the flow. You are left on the bank, a little lighter than before. You can do this with as many leaves as you need. Each release is an act of freedom. This release is also an act of forgiveness. Forgiveness is not about condoning what happened. It is not about saying an injustice was okay. Forgiveness is the ultimate act of self-care. It is about recognizing that resentment is a burden you carry, not the other person. To hold a grudge is to hold a burning coal in your hand, expecting someone else to get burned. Forgiveness is the simple, wise act of opening your hand and dropping the coal. You can offer this forgiveness silently. Think of someone who hurt you today, or in the past. Picture them in your mind and say silently, from your heart, I release you. I release you from the anger and resentment I have been holding. I release you for my own peace. And then, most importantly, you must offer this same grace to yourself. For all the should-haves and if-onlys, for the mistakes made and the words you wish you could take back. Offer yourself forgiveness. Place a hand on your own heart and say silently, I forgive myself. I was doing the best I could with the awareness I had. I am allowed to make mistakes. I am allowed to be imperfect. I release myself from the burden of perfection. Feel the softening that comes with this act of inner kindness. There is a beautiful Zen story that speaks to this more clearly than any explanation. Two monks, one senior and one junior, were on a long pilgrimage. They came to a river with a strong current. A young woman in fine silks was standing there, afraid to cross, as she would ruin her clothes and risk being swept away. Without a word, the senior monk walked up to her, hoisted her onto his back, carried her across the turbulent water, and set her down gently on the other side. She thanked him profusely, and he simply nodded and continued on his way. The junior monk was aghast. Monks were forbidden from touching women. He was scandalized by his master's behavior. For the next several miles, he walked in fuming silence, his mind replaying the scene over and over. He thought about the rules, the impropriety, the bad example. Finally, unable to bear it any longer, he burst out, "Master, how could you do that? You know we are not to touch women. Yet you carried that one across the river. The senior monk looked at his student with a calm, gentle expression and replied, "I set that woman down by the riverbank miles ago. Why are you still carrying her tonight?" As you lie here, ask yourself this question. What are you still carrying? What conversation? What regret? What offense from today? Or yesterday? Or 10 years ago? Are you still carrying in your mind, like the junior monk? You are weighing yourself down with a burden that no longer needs to be carried. The event is over. The river has been crossed. It is time to set it down. It is time to release the weight of yesterday's water so that you can be free in this present moment. Because this moment, right now, is fresh. This breath you are breathing has never been breathed before. This stillness is new. The past has brought you to this shore, but you do not have to bring the past with you. By letting go of what was, you create an open, empty space, a space of pure potential. But the mind is a creature of habit. Once it has been convinced to set down the baggage of the past, it often does something equally exhausting. It immediately starts trying to pack for a journey it has not yet begun. It releases its grip on yesterday only to lunge forward, grasping desperately for tomorrow. And so, our next step is to address this forward-leaning anxiety, to learn how to release the imagined weight of a future that has not yet arrived. Having gently set down the heavy buckets of yesterday's water, you may feel a moment of lightness, a brief taste of freedom, but then, almost immediately, the restless mind begins its next project. It turns its gaze from the past to the future. It peers into the mists of tomorrow, trying to map out every step, anticipate every problem, and control every outcome. This is the anxiety of the horizon. The horizon is a line we can always see, but can never reach. The closer we walk towards it, the further it recedes. The future is just like that. It is a mental projection, a destination that exists only in our imagination. Yet we exhaust ourselves trying to run towards it, to manage it, to secure it before it has even arrived. This forward-leaning habit of the mind is what we call worry. And it is crucial to understand that worrying is not the same as planning. Planning is a conscious, constructive process. It is something you do with a focused mind. During your active hours, you sit down, you assess a situation, you decide on a course of action, and then you put the plan aside. Planning has a beginning and an end. Worry, on the other hand, is a destructive loop. It is circular, repetitive, and it happens without your full consent. Often in the dark, when you are most vulnerable, it is the mind spinning its wheels in the mud, solving nothing, but digging you deeper into a state of agitation and fear. Worry is like sitting in a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it gets you absolutely nowhere. It is a dress rehearsal for a tragedy that will likely never occur. Yet, you pay the full price of admission. Your body does not know the difference between a vividly imagined threat and a real one. When you worry, your heart rate increases, your muscles tense, your system is flooded with stress hormones, all in preparation for a battle that is only happening in your head. There is a profound wisdom in the saying, worrying is like paying interest on a debt. you may not even owe. You are suffering twice, once in your imagination. And then again if the event actually comes to pass. More often than not, it never does. Tonight, we can reframe our entire relationship with sleep. Instead of seeing it as a battle to be won, we can see it as an act of profound trust. Sleep is the ultimate surrender. It is a declaration of faith. Firstly, it is an act of trust in yourself. It is the quiet acknowledgement that you have done enough for today. You have worked. You have loved. You have met your challenges as best you could. Now, you can trust that it was sufficient. You do not need to stay awake, mentally rehearsing, to make today's efforts more valid. You can trust that the seeds you planted today will be fine overnight without your constant supervision. Secondly, sleep is an act of trust in the process of restoration. It is faith that your body and mind know how to heal, to recharge, to prepare you for a new day. You are entrusting yourself to this mysterious, intelligent process of renewal. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, sleep is an act of trust in life itself. It is the humbling admission that you cannot control everything. You cannot solve all of tomorrow's potential problems tonight. You must trust that when tomorrow arrives, you will have the strength, the clarity, and the resources to meet it, just as you have met every other day of your life. Lying awake and worrying is a statement of distrust. Allowing yourself to drift into sleep is a statement of faith. There is an ancient Taoist story that perfectly captures the foolishness of our anxious projections into the future. An old farmer lived in a small village. He was poor, but he had a magnificent stallion that was his pride and joy. One day, the stallion escaped from its enclosure and ran off into the mountains. The farmer's neighbors all came to console him. "Oh, what terrible luck," they lamented. The old farmer simply replied, "Good luck, bad luck, who knows?" A week later, the stallion returned, and it was not alone. It had led a herd of 12 wild horses back with it. The neighbors were overjoyed for the farmer. "What incredible good fortune," they exclaimed. The old farmer just shrugged and said, "Good luck, bad luck, who knows?" The farmer's only son began the work of taming the wild horses. While riding one, he was thrown off and his leg was badly broken. The villagers gathered again, shaking their heads. "How awful! Your son, who is your only help, is now crippled. This is truly bad luck." The old farmer looked at his son's broken leg and said calmly, "Good luck, bad luck, who knows?" A few weeks passed, and the emperor's army marched through the village, conscripting every able-bodied young man for a war they were losing badly. The farmer's son, because of his broken leg, was the only young man in the village who was spared. All the neighbors, whose sons had been taken away, came to the farmer, weeping. "Your luck is astonishing." They said, "Your son was spared because he was injured. You were so wise." The old farmer, watching his son slowly recovering, simply said, "Good luck, bad luck, who knows?" This story teaches us that we are terrible predictors of the future. The events we label as disasters often contain hidden blessings. The events we celebrate as triumphs can carry the seeds of future challenges. We simply do not know. When you lie in bed worrying about a presentation tomorrow, You are labeling it bad luck. But who knows? Perhaps that presentation will lead to an unexpected opportunity. When you worry about not having enough money, you label it bad luck. But who knows? Perhaps that struggle will teach you a resourcefulness you never knew you had. Worry is the arrogant assumption that you know how the story will unfold. The wisdom of the farmer is the humility of letting life unfold as it will, meeting each moment with presence rather than with fearful prediction. So now, let's practice this release of the future. Bring your awareness to the thoughts about tomorrow that have been spinning in your mind, the to-do lists, the potential conflicts, the hopes and the fears. Do not fight them. Just see them. Acknowledge them. Now, imagine gathering all of these thoughts, all of these projections about tomorrow, into a neat bundle. In your mind's eye, see yourself walking over to a shelf in a quiet room. On this shelf, you gently place this bundle of thoughts. You can even place a small, imaginary label on it that says, "For tomorrow." You are not destroying them or denying them. You are simply putting them in their proper place, to be dealt with at the proper time. And the proper time is not now. Now is the time for rest. As you turn away from the shelf, feel the lightness in your arms and in your mind. You can silently offer yourself a statement of trust. I have done enough for today. Tonight is for rest and restoration. Whatever tomorrow brings, I will meet it when it arrives. For now, I am here. We have now seen the burden of carrying the past and the futility of grasping for the future. We have set down yesterday's water, and we have released our grip on tomorrow's horizon. We find ourselves in a space that might feel empty, a space free from the weight of what was and the anxiety of what might be. But this space is not empty. It is profoundly full. It is full of life, sensation, and the only reality we ever truly have. It is the only safe harbor, the only ground that is ever solid beneath our feet. And so now, our journey takes a crucial turn. We turn away from the phantoms of time, and we begin the journey home, into the present moment, into the deep, undeniable, and calming wisdom of the body. You have done a beautiful thing. You have gently persuaded the mind to set down the heavy baggage of the past and to release its anxious grip on the future. And now, you find yourself in the present moment. But what is this present moment? Where is it found? It is not an abstract idea or a philosophical concept. The present moment has an address, and that address is your body. The mind can build a time machine, hurtling you back into regret or forward into anxiety. But the body knows no such travel. It is always, unfailingly, here and now. The feeling of the air on your skin is now. The gentle pressure where your head meets the pillow is now. The subtle rhythm of your own heartbeat is now. For this reason, the body is the ultimate sanctuary. It is the safe harbor where you can take refuge from the storms of the mind. It is the journey home. So let us embark on this journey. A slow, gentle exploration of this home you inhabit. This practice is not about judging or fixing anything. It is simply about feeling, about arriving. Let your awareness travel like a soft feather, beginning all the way down at the tips of your toes. See if you can feel them. Without wiggling them, can you sense the space between each toe? Can you feel the very end of your body? Notice any sensations that are present. Perhaps there is warmth from the blanket, a slight coolness in the air, a tingling, or maybe nothing at all. Whatever you find is perfectly fine. You are just noticing. Now, allow that soft feather of awareness to drift across the soles of your feet, the arches, the heels. Feel the gentle pressure where your heels rest against the mattress. Feel the weight of them. For the first time all day, your feet have nothing to do, nowhere to go. They are finally at rest. Allow a wave of gratitude to wash over them for carrying you through your day. Let this gentle awareness float upward into your ankles, your shins, and your calf muscles. You might notice areas of subtle tension here, remnants of walking, standing, and striving. You don't need to do anything about this tension. The simple act of noticing it with kindness is often enough to invite it to soften. Just let your awareness illuminate this part of your body, bathing it in a soft, accepting light. Continue this journey upward into your knees, front and back, and then into the large, strong muscles of your thighs. Feel the immense weight of your upper legs, how heavy and solid they are, sinking completely into the support beneath you. Feel the truth of this support. You do not have to hold yourself up. The bed is holding you. The earth is holding you. You are safe. Allow your awareness to pool in your pelvic area. A great bowl of sensation. Feeling the contact points where your hips connect with the bed. Let go of any clenching here. Let this entire lower half of your body become heavy, relaxed, and deeply at rest. Now, bring your attention to your torso. Feel your abdomen, soft and vulnerable. Notice the gentle rise and fall of your belly with each breath. A slow, steady rhythm, like the tide. Let the breath be easy and natural. Feel it expanding into your lower back, releasing any tension held there. Let your awareness travel up into your chest, feeling the more subtle movement of your ribs, expanding and contracting. Feel your heart, beating steadily in its sanctuary, doing its work quietly and faithfully, without any instruction from you. Let your attention spread across your back, feeling the long muscles along your spine, feeling your shoulder blades resting against the mattress. With every exhale, imagine your entire torso sinking just a little deeper, releasing another layer of holding, another layer of doing. Feel yourself truly arriving in your bed, truly inhabiting this moment. Let this wave of awareness flow into your shoulders. For so many of us, the shoulders are where we carry the weight of the world, our responsibilities, our burdens. Notice if your shoulders are hunched up towards your ears, and if they are, see if you can give them permission to drop. Give them permission to melt away from your neck, to become wide and heavy. Let the release flow down through your arms, past your elbows, through your forearms, and into your hands. Your hands have done so much today. They have typed, held, fixed, and gestured. Now, they can be still. Feel your fingers, whether they are curled or open. Feel the palms of your hands. Perhaps they are warm or tingling with energy. Let your hands be completely soft, empty of all effort. Let this softness travel up into your neck and into your jaw. Notice if your teeth are clenched. This is such a common way we hold stress. See if you can create a tiny space between your upper and lower teeth. Let your tongue rest comfortably in your mouth. Let your jaw hang loose. Feel the muscles in your cheeks soften. The area around your eyes become smooth. Let your eyebrows drift apart and feel your entire forehead become wide and serene, releasing the subtle frown of concentration. Your entire body, from the tips of your toes to the crown of your head, is now held in this gentle, loving awareness. There is a story about a great tightrope walker. Renowned for his focus and grace, he would walk a thin rope strung between two skyscrapers, seemingly without a flicker of fear. After one such performance, a journalist asked him, "What is your secret? What are you thinking about when you are up there? Are you thinking about not falling? Are you thinking about the destination?" The other side, the tightrope walker smiled and said, "When I am on the rope, I am not thinking about falling, for that would be to invite fear. I am not thinking about the destination, for that would be to invite impatience. When I am on the rope, my entire world, my entire mind, is the feeling of the rope beneath the sole of my foot. I am only thinking of this one step. My body and the rope are one. The present moment is my only point of balance. In this very moment, your body is your tightrope. It is your single point of focus that can bring you into perfect balance in the present moment. The mind may want to look down at the fear of falling, or look ahead to the impatience of getting to sleep. But you can choose to be the tightrope walker. You can bring your entire attention, your entire world, to the simple, direct, and honest sensations of your body. The feeling of weight, of warmth, of softness, of contact. This is your anchor. This is your reality. Rest here. Feel your body as one whole, integrated field of sensation, a universe of quiet, pulsing life. It is not asking anything of you. It is simply here, breathing, existing. As you rest in this full body awareness, you may begin to notice one sensation that is more prominent than the others. A gentle, rhythmic current flowing through the center of your being. A steady, quiet tide, rising and falling without any effort. This is your breath, the most simple, the most profound, and the most faithful anchor you will ever have. And it is to this anchor that we will now turn. We have returned home to the body, our safe harbor in the present moment, and here, in the quiet center of our physical being, we discover a rhythm that has been with us since the moment of our birth and will be with us until our very last. It is the rhythm of the breath. The breath is the most remarkable of our body's functions. It is both automatic and voluntary. It operates perfectly without our conscious thought, yet we can guide it at any time. It is the bridge that connects the unconscious and the conscious. It is the tether that links the mind to the body. When you are anxious, your breath is shallow and rapid. When you are calm, your breath is deep and slow. By bringing gentle awareness to the breath, we can influence the mind. By watching the breath, we can soothe it. This is why for thousands of years, the simple act of watching the breath, known as anapanasati, has been the cornerstone of meditation practice. It is our anchor in the storm. The beauty of this practice lies in its utter simplicity. There is nothing to achieve, nothing to force. In fact, the first and most important instruction is to not control the breath in any way. Your body has been breathing perfectly your entire life. It does not need your help now. Your task is simply to become an impartial observer, a curious scientist discovering this phenomenon for the first time. Let the body breathe itself. Your only job is to watch. To begin, find the place in your body where the sensation of the breath is most vivid for you. For some, this is at the tip of the nostrils. You might feel the subtle coolness of the air as it enters and a slight warmth as it leaves. It is a very delicate, precise sensation. For others, the sensation is more obvious in the chest, feeling the gentle expansion of the rib cage as the lungs fill and the subtle release as they empty. And for many, the most calming place to rest the attention is on the abdomen, feeling the soft rise of the belly on the in-breath and the gentle fall on the out-breath. There is no right or wrong place. Choose one of these anchor spots, whichever feels most natural and comfortable for you right now, and let your attention rest there, as lightly as a butterfly on a flower. Now, just feel the entire journey of a single breath. Notice the very beginning of the inhalation. As it starts to swell, follow it through the middle, all the way to its peak. Notice the briefest of pauses at the top, that moment of fullness, and then follow the exhalation all the way out. Notice the feeling of release, of letting go. As the air leaves your body, follow it until it is completely gone. And notice the stillness in the pause at the bottom, before the next breath arises all on its own. There is no need to count, no need to label, just this simple, intimate, sensory experience. In and out, rising and falling. The mind has, for the first time, a simple and steady job to do, but you will soon discover that the mind, our restless monkey, does not like simple jobs for very long. After a few breaths, or perhaps just one, you will find that your attention is no longer on the breath. It has wandered off. You might be listening to a sound, planning for tomorrow, remembering the past, or simply lost in a chain of thought. This is the most important moment in your practice. The moment you realize your mind has wandered is not a failure. It is a moment of pure success. It is a moment of mindfulness. You have woken up. In that moment, the instruction is not to judge yourself, not to feel frustrated or annoyed. The mind wanders. That is what it does. Your job is not to scold it. Your job is to be the kind and patient trainer. So, when you notice the mind has strayed, you can offer a gentle mental smile to yourself. Acknowledge where it went. Thinking about work, and then, with infinite patience, gently guide your attention back to your anchor spot, back to the simple, physical sensation of the breath. This process will happen over and over and over again. You might have to bring your mind back to the breath 10 times or 100 times. And that is the practice. The practice is not in staying on the breath perfectly. The practice is in the returning. Each time you notice the mind has wandered and you gently bring it back, you are strengthening the muscle of your attention. You are changing the very wiring of your brain. You are teaching the mind with kindness that it is safe to be still. So let go of any expectation of having a perfectly quiet mind. Instead, take up the intention of being a perfectly kind guide for your mind. No matter how many times it wanders away, with each exhalation, you have a natural opportunity to practice letting go. As you breathe out, feel a release of tension in your body. Let your shoulders soften. Let your jaw unclench. As you breathe out, you can also let go of a thought, releasing it from your grasp. The out-breath is a gentle sigh, a quiet surrender, a physical expression of release. There is a story that illustrates the taming of the mind through the breath. Imagine a farmer who has just captured a wild water buffalo from the jungle. The buffalo is strong, fearful, and chaotic. It thrashes and pulls, wanting only to return to its wild habits. To tame it, the farmer does not beat the buffalo into submission. Instead, he ties it with a long rope to a thick, sturdy stake driven deep into the ground. At first, the buffalo pulls and struggles with all its might. It runs to the end of the rope, gets yanked back, and runs in another direction, only to be stopped again. It exhausts itself for hours, or even days, but eventually, it learns that it cannot escape the radius of the rope. It realizes the struggle is futile, and so it lies down near the stake. It learns to find rest within the boundary it has been given. Over time, the farmer can use a shorter rope, and the buffalo stays calm. Eventually, the buffalo is so tamed, so at peace with the stake, that the farmer can remove the rope entirely, and the buffalo will not wander away. It has found its new home. In this story, the wild buffalo is our untamed, restless mind. The sturdy stake driven into the ground is the breath, and the rope is our mindfulness, our gentle, persistent attention. When we first tie our mind to the breath, it struggles, it pulls away, running towards thoughts, memories, and worries. It thrashes against the constraint. But if we are patient, if we just keep gently holding the rope, the mind eventually learns that the struggle is fruitless. It learns that it can find peace right here. Next to the breath, it settles down. The practice of anapanasati is the gentle, patient work of holding the rope. Every time the mind wanders and you bring it back, you are reminding the buffalo of the stake. You are teaching it, through repetition and kindness, where to find its rest. So return now to your own practice. Be the wise and patient farmer. Feel the stake of your breath. So steady, so present, and gently hold the rope of your attention. When the mind pulls, do not pull back with anger. Simply hold firm and gently guide it back. Rest in this simple rhythm. The rise and fall, the in and the out. And as you continue to rest with this simple, profound current of life, you may start to notice something remarkable. No two breaths are exactly the same. Some are long, some are short, some are deep, some are shallow. The breath is a river, not a stone. It is in constant flux, a perfect mirror of a deeper truth about all of life. This direct experience of change, right here in your own body, is the doorway to understanding one of the most liberating insights of all the wisdom of impermanence. You are resting here, with the breath as your anchor. You have followed its rhythm, the gentle rise and fall, the steady, quiet tide, and in this simple watching, you have made a profound discovery. You have seen that no two breaths are ever the same. Each one is unique, a singular event in time. The breath is a river of sensation, constantly flowing, constantly changing. This intimate experience of your own breath is a doorway. It is an invitation to understand one of the deepest and most liberating truths of existence. The truth the Buddha called anicca, or impermanence. This is the universal law that everything, without exception, is in a state of constant flux. Look around the natural world. A river is never the same river twice. The clouds in the sky are in a perpetual dance of forming, shifting, and dissolving. The sun rises and the sun sets. The seasons turn. Nothing is static. Nothing is permanent. And this same law applies to our own inner world. The sounds you hear right now, the hum of a fan, a distancieren, the creak of the house, they arise in your awareness. They exist for a moment, and then they disappear, replaced by something else. The physical sensations in your body are the same. An itch appears. You feel it, and then it fades. A feeling of warmth spreads, and then it cools. And most importantly, your thoughts and emotions follow this same universal law. A happy memory floats into your mind, brings a fleeting smile, and then dissolves. A wave of sadness or frustration may wash over you, and then it too recedes. Your mind, which a moment ago may have seemed like a solid, unchanging block of anxiety, is actually more like the weather, a dynamic, ever-changing pattern of thoughts, feelings, and sensations. The deepest sources of our human suffering do not come from the fact of change itself. Change is neutral. It is just the way things are. Our suffering comes from our resistance to this fundamental law. It comes from trying to do the impossible to make permanent that which is temporary. We engage in this futile struggle in two ways. The first is clinging. When we experience something pleasant, a moment of joy, a feeling of deep peace, a loving connection, our mind instinctively tries to grasp it, to hold on to it, to stop it from changing. We build a fortress around the feeling, hoping to keep it forever. But life is a river, and the feeling flows on. Our clenched fist, which we thought would preserve the moment, ends up empty and aching. Our clinging to what was pleasant creates the pain of its absence. The second form of resistance is aversion. When we experience something unpleasant, a difficult emotion like fear or anger, a painful memory, or the restlessness of not being able to sleep, our mind instinctively tries to push it away. We declare war on the feeling. We build a dam to stop this uncomfortable part of the river of life from reaching us. But the river is powerful. Our struggle against the unpleasant feeling only gives it more energy. We create immense tension in our body and mind, and in doing so, we amplify the very suffering we are trying to avoid. We suffer not just from the unpleasant feeling, but from the exhausting secondary struggle against it. Trying to control the ever-changing flow of life is like trying to build a house on a moving escalator. It is a recipe for exhaustion and frustration. But here, in this moment, this understanding of impermanence can become your greatest ally. It can be a source of profound relief. Turn your awareness to the very feeling you are struggling with right now. Perhaps it is a knot of anxiety in your stomach. Perhaps it is the frantic, repetitive nature of your thoughts. Whatever it is, look at it through the lens of Anicca. Say to yourself, silently and gently, this feeling of anxiety, this, too, is impermanent. This is a temporary cloud passing through the vast sky of my awareness. It has arisen, and it will pass away. This is not a trick. It is not wishful thinking. It is a simple statement of fact. Just as no storm lasts forever, no state of mind lasts forever. By reminding yourself of this, you stop adding the second arrow of struggle. You stop fighting the wave. And instead, you learn to surf it. You give the feeling space to exist, trusting in the universal law that it will, in its own time, change. The knot of anxiety begins to loosen, not because you forced it to, but because you stopped feeding it with the energy of your resistance. There is a classic Zen story about a master who had a particularly beautiful and precious teacup. He loved this teacup and used it every day. A student, noticing the master's affection for the cup, asked him about it. The master smiled and said, "To me, this teacup is already broken. I enjoy it immensely. I admire its delicate handle and the beautiful glaze. I feel the warmth it gives my hands, but I understand that its nature is to be fragile. It is made of clay. It was born from the earth. And one day, a gust of wind, a careless gesture, or simply the passage of time will cause it to break and return to the earth. So, because I see it as already broken, I am completely free to love it and enjoy it, here and now, without fear. And when the day comes that it does break, I will not be shocked or heartbroken. I will simply say, of course, tonight, you can hold your own state of mind, like this precious teacup. If you are feeling peaceful, you can enjoy that peace fully, without desperately trying to cling to it, because you understand it is a temporary state. And if you are feeling anxious or restless, you can also hold that feeling with a similar wisdom. You can look at your anxiety and say, "Ah, this feeling, to me, it is already gone. Its nature is to be impermanent. I can be with it now, without fighting it, without being terrified of it, because I know it is just a temporary cloud, a passing wave." This is the freedom the master had with his teacup. It is the freedom that comes from aligning ourselves with the truth of reality, rather than fighting against it. This acceptance of impermanence is not a form of apathy or resignation. It does not mean you stop caring or trying to improve your life. It is the exact opposite. When you stop wasting enormous amounts of energy trying to freeze the good moments and battle the bad moments, you have so much more energy to engage with life as it truly is. You become more present, more alive, more responsive. You can appreciate the beauty of the flower without the pain of knowing it will wilt. You can navigate the storm with courage, knowing it will pass. You are no longer trying to control the river. Instead, you are learning to become a skilled navigator, paddling with the current, steering around obstacles, and finding a deep sense of peace within the flow itself. This profound understanding of impermanence, of the ever-flowing river of existence, changes how we relate to our own dissatisfaction. It allows us to look at our restlessness, our sense of unease, not as a permanent personal failure, but as a fundamental condition of our experience when we are caught in the grip of resisting reality. This universal condition of unease, born from clinging to that which changes, is what the Buddha called dukkha. And looking at this condition with clarity and without fear is the very first step toward healing it. As you rest in the flow of the ever-changing breath, you are touching upon a fundamental truth of existence, impermanence. You are seeing for yourself that nothing is solid, nothing is permanent. This understanding is the key that unlocks the next great door of wisdom. When we don't understand this law of change, we constantly struggle against reality. We cling to what is pleasant, trying to make it last forever. And we fight what is unpleasant, trying to make it disappear immediately. This constant, low-grade struggle, this friction between our desires and the way things actually are, creates a pervasive sense of dissatisfaction, a subtle but persistent feeling of unease. In the teachings of the Buddha, this fundamental state of unease is called dukkha. The word dukkha is often translated as suffering, but this can be misleading. It doesn't necessarily mean dramatic, tragic pain, though it includes that. A better translation for our purposes might be stress, unsatisfactoriness, or the feeling that something is just not quite right. It's the subtle vibration of discontent that hums beneath the surface of our lives. And right now, the experience of lying awake when you wish to be asleep is a perfect, living embodiment of dukkha. It is the gap between what you want peaceful slumber and what is alert restlessness. It is the tension in your shoulders, the frustration in your mind, the quiet despair that you may never get the rest you need. This feeling is dukkha in its purest form. It is the thorn of existence. Now, to speak of this might sound pessimistic or negative. It might seem that we are dwelling on the problem, but this step is the most crucial and hopeful one we can take. Imagine you have been feeling unwell for weeks. You go to a wise and compassionate doctor. A bad doctor might dismiss your concerns and say, "Oh, just think positive thoughts." But a good doctor will conduct a thorough examination. She will listen, she will probe, and then she will give you a clear and honest diagnosis. She might say, "You have a specific kind of infection." Hearing the diagnosis is not bad news. It is the best possible news. It means the vague suffering now has a name and a cause. And because it has a cause, a cure can be found. Acknowledging dukkha is simply being this good doctor for ourselves. It is the first noble truth. It is the brave, compassionate act of looking squarely at our own unease and saying, this, I see this. This is the stress, the dissatisfaction, the dukkha, this clear seeing, without fear or judgment, is the beginning of all healing. A good doctor, having diagnosed the illness, then identifies its cause. The cause of dukkha, the teachings say, is a force called tanha. This word translates as thirst, craving, or desire. It is the deep, driving engine of the mind that is always wanting something to be different than it is. This thirst takes two primary forms that are fueling your restlessness right now. The first is the craving for something. I want to be asleep. I need to fall asleep now. This wanting, this desire, creates a striving energy. It makes the mind lean forward. It tenses the muscles. It turns rest into a project, a goal to be achieved. And because sleep can only arrive when striving ceases, this very desire for it pushes it further away. The second form of thirst is the craving against something, which is also known as aversion. I don't want to be awake. I hate this feeling of anxiety. I can't stand these racing thoughts, this pushing away. This resistance is the other side of the same coin. It is a violent rejection of the present moment. This aversion creates a state of inner warfare. You are at war with your own mind, at war with your own body. This combination of pulling a desired future towards you sleep and pushing an unwanted present away from you. Wakefulness creates an immense and exhausting tension. This tension is dukkha. It is the rope in a tug of war, stretched to its breaking point by the forces of craving and aversion. The Buddha told a story to illustrate how we create this unnecessary suffering for ourselves. He said that if a person is struck by an arrow, it is painful. But if that person is then struck by a second arrow in the exact same spot, the pain is not just doubled, it is unbearable. In life, we are all inevitably struck by first arrows. A first arrow is an unpleasant event, a difficult sensation. In this moment, the simple physical reality of being awake or the arising of an anxious feeling is a first arrow. It is painful. It is uncomfortable, but it is, to some extent, unavoidable. It is part of life. The dukkha, the true suffering, comes from the second arrow, which we fire into ourselves. The second arrow is our mental reaction to the first. It is the story we tell about the first arrow. The first arrow is the feeling of anxiety. The second arrow is the thought, oh no, anxiety again. I hate this feeling. It's going to ruin my night. I'll be a wreck tomorrow. I can't handle this. The first arrow is being awake. The second arrow is the thought, this is a disaster. I am a terrible sleeper. Something is wrong with me. These second arrows of judgment, fear, catastrophizing, and resistance are the source of almost all our mental anguish. The profound secret to peace is not learning how to avoid all first arrows. The secret is to learn how to stop shooting ourselves with the second arrow. So, let us practice this right now. Bring your awareness to the raw, physical sensation of your dukkha. The first arrow, perhaps it is a tightness in your chest, a buzzing energy in your limbs, or just the simple fact of open eyes in a dark room. Feel the direct sensation without any story. Now, watch your mind. Notice the second arrows it wants to fire, the judgments, the fears, the complaints. See them as they arise and make a conscious, gentle choice not to fire them. Let the thought, "This is terrible," arise and pass away without grabbing onto it. Let the fear about tomorrow arise and pass away without believing it. You are not suppressing them. You are simply letting them go, refusing to add them to your pain. You are choosing to stay with the clean pain of the first arrow only, and you will discover something amazing. When you are only with the first arrow, with the raw physical sensation, and you meet it with the calm acceptance we have been cultivating, it is bearable. It is just sensation. It is not a catastrophe. By doing this, you are letting go of tanha. You are releasing the craving for sleep and the aversion to wakefulness. You are dropping the rope in the tug of war, and in the stillness that follows, in that space of non-striving and non-resistance, a miracle can happen. The body, finally free from the battle of the mind, is allowed to do what it knows how to do. It is allowed to rest. We have now seen that this unease, this dukkha, is born from the clinging of the mind. It clings to what it wants and pushes away what it doesn't want. But this begs a profound question. We speak of my anxiety and my desire to sleep. We say, "I am suffering." But who or what is this I that is doing all this clinging? Is this self, this ego, as solid and real as we have always assumed? To find an even deeper level of freedom, we must now turn our gentle inquiry toward the very nature of this self. You are resting here, in a state of gentle awareness. We have journeyed together, looking at the nature of your experience. We saw that everything is impermanent, like a flowing river. We saw that our struggle against this flow creates a deep unease, a dukkha, and we saw that this struggle is fueled by craving, by the thirst for things to be different than they are. This leads us now to the most profound and perhaps strangest question of all. We have been speaking of my thoughts, my anxiety, and my struggle. We say, "I am having trouble sleeping." But who or what is this I that is at the center of this entire drama in our ordinary life? We have a very strong sense that there is a solid, continuous me inside our skin, an executive in the head office, a CEO of our being who is feeling, thinking, and deciding. We believe this I was the same I that existed 5 years ago and will be the same I that exists tomorrow. The Buddha, looking deeply into his own experience, made a revolutionary discovery. He found that when he looked for this solid, separate self, he couldn't find it. What he found instead was not a thing, but a process. This insight is called anatta, or no self. This is not to say that you do not exist. You are clearly here, but it suggests that your self is not a fixed noun, but a dynamic verb. You are not a statue. You are a river. You are a constantly changing process of thinking, feeling, sensing, and being aware. Let's look at this more closely. What we call ourself can be broken down into 5 flowing streams of experience. The first is the stream of our physical body. Is your body the same today as it was 7 years ago? Science tells us that nearly every cell has been replaced. Your body is a process of constant change. The second stream is feeling or sensation. These are the pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral tones that constantly wash through us. One moment you feel warmth, the next an itch, the next a feeling of peace. These feelings are not solid. They are fleeting and impermanent. The third stream is perception. This is the mind's function of labeling and recognizing. Bed, darkness, sound of a fan, anxiety. These labels are not the things themselves, they are mental constructs, constantly being applied and replaced. The fourth stream is our mental formations. This is the most active part, containing our habits, our moods, our intentions, our opinions, and our reactions. This stream is where the habit of worrying lives, and it too is in constant, churning motion. The fifth and final stream is consciousness itself, the basic awareness that knows all the other streams are happening. What you call I is simply the momentary coming together of these 5 flowing, changing processes. It's like a rainbow. A rainbow has a clear shape and beautiful colors. It appears to be a solid thing, but when you go to where it is, there is nothing there but sunlight and mist. The rainbow is a process, an event that arises when certain conditions come together. Yourself is just like that. It is an event, a process that arises when these 5 streams of body, feeling, perception, formation, and consciousness interact. There is no separate CEO standing behind them, owning them. There is just the process itself. This understanding can be incredibly freeing, and we can practice it right now by changing the way we speak to ourselves. When a wave of anxiety arises, instead of thinking, "Oh no, I am anxious," see if you can gently and accurately rephrase it in your mind. A feeling of anxiety has arisen in the body and mind. Can you feel the difference? The first statement, "I am anxious," creates a solid identity. It fuses you with the anxiety. You are the anxiety. The second statement, "A feeling of anxiety has arisen," creates space. It turns you from the victim of the feeling into the calm observer of the feeling. It becomes an impersonal weather pattern passing through, rather than the core of who you are. Instead of, "I can't stop thinking about work," try observing thoughts related to work are arising in the mind. Instead of, "My leg is aching," try noticing there is a sensation of aching in the leg. This is not a mental trick. It is a more precise and truthful way of seeing reality, and it fundamentally changes your relationship to your own suffering. You stop taking it so personally. There is a wonderful ancient story from the Taoist sage Zhuangzi. One day, he was leisurely boating on a river when another boat came crashing into his. His first reaction was a surge of anger. He was about to shout at the careless person who had hit him. But when he looked closer, he saw that there was no one in the other boat. It was an empty boat, adrift on the current. And in that instant, his anger vanished completely. There was no one to be angry at. He simply took his oar and pushed the empty boat away and continued on his journey. Zhuangzi then reflected that we would all be much happier if we could learn to live our lives as if we were in that empty boat, and to see all the things that afflict us as other empty boats. If someone insults you and you take it personally, you get angry. But what if you saw their words as an empty boat, adrift on the currents of their own conditioning and unhappiness? If you see it as an empty boat, you don't have to take on its cargo of anger. You can just push it gently away. Tonight, the feelings of restlessness, the anxious thoughts, the inability to sleep, all of these are empty boats. They have drifted and bumped into your awareness. Our habit is to immediately assume there is a boatman. We create a villain named my insomnia or my anxiety, and we get into a furious argument with this imaginary person. We yell at the empty boat. We take the collision personally. We think, this boat is ruining my night. I am being attacked by this problem. But what if you could look at it all with the wisdom of Zhuangzi? What if you could see the restlessness as an empty boat, set adrift by the conditions of your day, the stress, the coffee, the stimulating conversations? There is no one steering it. It is an impersonal phenomenon. When you see it this way, who is there to be angry at? What is there to fight? You can stop shouting. You can simply acknowledge its presence. An empty boat has bumped into me, and with your oar of gentle awareness, you can push it softly aside and return your attention to the feeling of the water, to the feeling of your breath. This understanding dissolves the heaviest part of our suffering, the self-judgment. If there is no solid, fixed then who is the one who is failing at sleeping? Who is the bad meditator whose mind keeps wandering? These are just labels, stories attached to impersonal processes. The question itself dissolves. There is no one failing. There is simply a body that is not yet asleep. There is simply a mind that is still active. By depersonalizing the struggle, we remove the sting of shame and failure. We are left only with the raw data of the present moment, which we can meet with kindness and curiosity. We have now journeyed through the three great signposts of existence. We have seen anicca, that all things are impermanent and in flux. We have seen dukkha, the unease that comes from resisting this flow. And we have seen anatta, that the self we thought was struggling is also part of this flow, not a solid entity. These three insights are not meant to be depressing. They are the ultimate diagnosis of our condition. They are the clear-eyed vision that sees things exactly as they are. And once we have a clear diagnosis, we can finally turn to the clear and compassionate prescription for the cure. This prescription is the Four Noble Truths, a path that contains everything we have discussed and shows us the way to true peace. We have journeyed deep into the nature of our own mind. We have stood on the riverbank and watched the flow of impermanence, seeing how everything arises and passes away. We have felt the subtle thorn of dukkha, the unease that comes from resisting this flow, and we have looked for the solid self who suffers, only to find a dynamic, ever-changing process, an empty boat adrift on the currents of existence. These insights are not random philosophical points. They are the essential groundwork, the fundamental discoveries that lead us to the very heart of the Buddha's teaching on freedom. He organized these insights into an elegant and profoundly practical framework, a medical chart for the human spirit, known as the Four Noble Truths. This framework is not something to be believed in, but something to be seen and verified in your own experience. Right here, right now, on this sleepless night. Think of it as the most compassionate doctor's visit you will ever have. The first noble truth is the diagnosis. It is the simple, honest, and courageous acknowledgement of the presence of dukkha, of unease. The good doctor looks at your condition with clear eyes and says, "Yes, I see. There is stress here. So, in this moment, let yourself be this compassionate witness. Acknowledge the truth of your present experience without judgment. You can say to yourself, silently, there is the presence of restlessness in the body. There is the presence of a mind that is spinning. There is the presence of anxiety about tomorrow. This is here now. This is dukkha. There is immense power in this simple, truthful naming. You are no longer running from the problem or pretending it doesn't exist. You are turning to face it with clarity and courage. You are not saying, "I am dukkha," or "my life is dukkha." You are simply observing that in this moment, the condition of dukkha is present. This is the brave first step that makes all healing possible. You have acknowledged the symptom. The second noble truth is the identification of the cause. The doctor, having diagnosed the illness, now tells you what is causing it. She says, "I have found the source of your fever. It is this specific bacteria." The Buddha did the same for our spiritual unease. He said the cause of dukkha is tanha, the thirst, the craving, the clinging of the mind. As we have already explored, the stress you are feeling right now is not caused by the darkness, or the bed, or the time on the clock. It is caused directly by the internal friction of wanting things to be different than they are. It is caused by the mind's thirst for sleep and its aversion to being awake. It is the desire to escape the present moment. This is incredibly empowering news. Why? Because if the cause of your suffering were external, if it were the world, or other people, or your brain chemistry alone, you would be a helpless victim. But the moment you see that the primary cause is an internal pattern of craving and aversion, you realize the solution must also be internal. The power to heal is already within your hands. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are simply caught in a powerful habit of mind. And any habit can be understood and transformed. The third noble truth is the prognosis, and it is the best news you could ever receive. The doctor, after identifying the cause, smiles warmly and says, "This condition is absolutely curable. A state of complete health and well-being is possible for you." This is the truth of cessation, or nirodha. It is the promise that there exists a state where the thirst has been quenched, where the fever has broken. There is a state of mind free from the frantic push and pull of craving and aversion. It is a state of profound peace, ease, and boundless freedom that is not dependent on whether you are asleep or awake. It is the peace of the deep ocean, which remains undisturbed no matter how turbulent the waves on the surface may be. This state is not a distant, mythical heaven. It is an innate potential of your own consciousness. By seeing that dukkha has a cause, we can logically understand that if we remove the cause, we will remove the effect. The cessation of clinging leads directly to the cessation of suffering. This truth provides the hope and the motivation to walk the path. It tells us that our efforts will not be in vain. Peace is possible. The fourth noble truth is the prescription. A good doctor does not just tell you that a cure exists. She gives you the medicine and the precise instructions on how to use it. This is the truth of the path, or Magga. The Buddha laid out a clear, comprehensive, and practical set of guidelines for walking from the land of dukkha to the land of peace. This is known as the Noble Eightfold Path. It is a complete guide to living a mindful, ethical, and wise life. And tonight, you do not need to memorize all 8 steps. You only need to realize that the very things you have been practicing on this journey are the living embodiment of this path. When you watch your mind without judgment, you are practicing right mindfulness. When you gently let go of a thought and return to the breath, you are practicing right effort, the effort of letting go, not of forcing. When you see for yourself the truth of impermanence, unease, and no self, you are cultivating right understanding. You are not just learning about the path, you are walking it with every conscious breath. You are taking the medicine. So, let's review this compassionate diagnosis one more time. First, we bravely acknowledge the reality of our present unease. There is dukkha. Second, we understand its cause. This unease is fueled by my own mind's clinging and aversion. Third, we hold on to the bright promise of freedom, a state of peace, free from this unease, is possible. And fourth, we commit to the treatment. I will continue to walk this path of mindful awareness and letting go. Seeing these 4 truths in the context of your own sleeplessness transforms it from a personal failure into a profound opportunity for wisdom and liberation. Your bedroom is no longer a torture chamber. It has become a laboratory for enlightenment. We have now seen the complete map for our journey, the diagnosis of our condition, its deep-rooted cause, the shining possibility of a cure, and the practical path that leads to it. This path of wisdom is powerful, but for it to truly heal us, it must be walked with a heart that is soft and open. It must be watered with the warmth of kindness, both for ourselves and for others. The very first steps on this path, the steps that make all the others steady and true, are taken with a gentle heart. And so, we now turn our attention away from the intricate workings of the mind and toward the boundless, healing qualities of the heart, beginning with the cultivation of unconditional, loving kindness. We have walked a path of profound wisdom, seeing our experience through the clear lens of the 4 noble truths. We have the map. We see the path laid out before us. But a map, no matter how accurate, is useless if we do not have the heart to take the first step. A path of wisdom can feel cold and analytical if it is not illuminated by the warmth of kindness. The very ground upon which this entire path is built, the quality that makes healing possible, is the gentle and unconditional friendliness known as metta. This loving kindness is the radical act of choosing to be on your own side. especially when you are struggling. For so many of us, the experience of sleeplessness is not just one of restlessness, but one of harsh self-judgment. A critical inner voice arises, a drill sergeant in the mind, shouting, "Why can't you just sleep? You're failing at this. Your mind is out of control." This inner critic is a cruel companion in the lonely hours of the night. Metta is the antidote. It is the practice of systematically replacing that harsh inner voice with one of warmth, encouragement, and unconditional friendship. It is learning to speak to yourself with the same kindness you would offer to a beloved friend who is suffering. Let us begin this practice now. If it feels comfortable, you might place a hand gently over the center of your chest, over your heart space. This simple physical touch can be a powerful reminder of warmth and tenderness. Let your attention settle in this area, and for a moment, just breathe into this space. Now, we will silently offer a few phrases of loving kindness to the one person in this world who needs it most, right now yourself. Let these words be not a forceful command, but a gentle, heartfelt wish, like a quiet lullaby sung to your own heart. Repeat them slowly, letting the feeling behind the words sink into your being. Silently, gently, offer yourself this wish. May I be safe. Feel the intention of safety, of protection from inner and outer harm. Let it be a shield of gentleness around you. May I be safe. Now, the wish, may I be happy. Allow yourself, just for a moment, to wish for your own genuine happiness and well-being. Let go of any feeling that you don't deserve it. May I be happy. Offer the wish, may I be healthy and strong. This is a wish for the health of your body and the resilience of your spirit. A wish for vitality and strength to meet the challenges of life. May I be healthy and strong. And now, a wish especially for this moment. May I be peaceful and at ease. This is a direct counter-command to the mind of striving and struggle. It is the gentle permission to be calm, to be at rest, right here, right now, regardless of your state of wakefulness. May I be peaceful and at ease. Continue to repeat these phrases gently to yourself. If your mind wanders, that's okay. Just as with the breath, you simply notice and kindly return to offering these wishes. Let the vibration of this kindness soak into every cell of your body. Let it be a warm, healing balm for all the tired and anxious places within you. There is a teaching story about a man who finds a wild, stray dog, thin and fearful from a life of hardship. When the man approaches, the dog bares its teeth and snarls, ready to bite. If the man were to shout and throw stones at the dog, it would only become more vicious and defensive. It would confirm the dog's belief that the world is a hostile place. But this man is wise. He simply stands at a safe distance and gently tosses a piece of food toward the dog. The dog is suspicious, but its hunger is great, and it eventually eats the food. The man returns the next day and does the same. Day after day, he comes without aggression, without demand, only with a quiet offering of nourishment and kindness. Slowly, the fearful snarling begins to soften. The dog's tail, once tucked in fear, gives a tentative wag, One day, the man is able to sit near the dog as it eats, and eventually, the wild, fearful creature becomes his most loyal and loving companion, our own mind, especially when it is caught in a state of anxiety and restlessness, is very much like that wild dog. It is fearful, agitated, and defensive. Our habit of self-criticism, of judging and commanding it, is like shouting and throwing stones. It only makes the mind more agitated. Metta, this practice of loving kindness, is the gentle offering of food. Each time you offer yourself the phrase, "May I be peaceful," you are tossing a piece of nourishment to that fearful part of your mind. You are not demanding that it be peaceful. You are simply offering the wish, the food of kindness, over and over again, with patience and persistence. That wild, fearful mind will begin to trust you. It will learn that you are not its enemy, but its dearest friend. It will stop fighting you, and it will finally be able to lie down and rest at your feet. Now, having offered this kindness to ourselves, we can feel how it begins to soften the heart. And from this place of softness, we can expand our wish for well-being to others. This is a crucial step, for it helps our mind move beyond the narrow, self-absorbed focus of its own problems. First, bring to mind a person who is very dear to you, someone you love easily and without complication. It could be a family member, a close friend, or even a beloved pet. Picture them in your mind's eye. See them smiling and happy. Now, direct the full force of your loving kindness toward them, offering the same phrases, "May you be safe," "May you be happy," "May you be healthy and strong," "May you be peaceful and at ease." Feel your heart extending its warmth to this beloved being. Next, bring to mind a neutral person, someone you see in your daily life, but for whom you feel neither like nor dislike. Perhaps the person who delivers your mail, or a cashier at a store you frequent. You know their face, but you do not know their story. Picture them in your mind and offer them the very same wishes. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy and strong. May you be peaceful and at ease. In doing this, you are training your heart to be kind without needing a personal reason. You are recognizing the shared humanity in a near stranger, their same fundamental wish to be happy and free from suffering. And now, if it feels possible for you tonight, you can take a further step. Gently bring to mind someone with whom you have difficulty, a person who has caused you pain or frustration. This is not about condoning their harmful actions. It is about your own freedom. Remember the burning coal of resentment. This practice is about dropping that coal from your own hand, holding this person in your awareness. As best you can, offer them the same phrases. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be peaceful and at ease. You may not feel it fully, and that is perfectly okay. The simple intention to wish them well is a powerful act of healing for your own heart. Finally, let your awareness expand in all directions, to all people in your city, in your country, to all beings on this continent, on this planet, to all living things, great and small, seen and unseen. Radiate this feeling of loving kindness outward. To all beings without exception, may all beings everywhere be safe. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful and at ease. Feel yourself as a center of warmth, broadcasting a silent, powerful wave of goodwill to the entire universe. Now, let your awareness come back to your own body, to the space of your own heart. Rest in the echo of this practice. Notice any sensations of warmth, softness, or openness. This feeling is a refuge. It is a home you can return to at any time. This warmth of metta, this unconditional friendliness, creates a safe and gentle space in our hearts. It gives us courage, and with this newfound courage, we can now turn to face our own difficulties and the suffering of the world, not with fear or aversion, but with the tender and engaged response of compassion. When loving kindness meets the reality of pain, it transforms into karuna, the courageous quivering of the heart that dares to feel and dares to care. We have cultivated metta, that gentle, unconditional friendliness, planting a seed of warmth in the soil of the heart. We have learned to offer ourselves the same kindness we would offer a friend. This practice makes the heart soft, but it also makes it brave. It gives us the courage to not turn away from difficulty, and this is essential because life is not always pleasant. The path of wisdom requires us to be with reality as it is, and reality includes pain. When our loving kindness, our metta, encounters the reality of suffering, it naturally transforms into its courageous twin karuna, or compassion. Compassion is not pity. Pity looks down from above, creating distance. Oh, you poor thing. Compassion meets another at eye level, creating connection. I am here with you in this. It is the heart's tremor in the face of pain. It is the ability to suffer with another, to be present with their struggle without being consumed by it. And the first person we must learn to offer this profound gift to is ourselves. For years, our primary strategy for dealing with our own discomfort, our anxiety, our restlessness, our sorrow has been to run. We distract ourselves. We numb ourselves. We suppress the feeling, hoping it will go away. Tonight, we will practice the radical and healing act of turning toward the pain, not with fear, but with the tender strength of compassion. I invite you now to gently bring your awareness to the feeling of discomfort in your body. Perhaps it is the restlessness you call insomnia, or a knot of anxiety, or a physical ache. Instead of treating it as an enemy, see if you can approach it with the gentle curiosity of a kind scientist. Turn your attention toward it. Where exactly does it live in your body? Is it in your stomach, your chest, your throat? If you had to draw a boundary around it, what shape would it be? Does it have a texture? Is it buzzing, or sharp, or dull and heavy? Does it have a temperature? Is it hot or cold? You are not judging it or analyzing it. You are simply getting to know its physical landscape, its pure sensory reality, separate from the scary stories your mind tells about it. Now, having located it, I want you to imagine this sensation is a small, crying child. It is frightened and alone in the dark. And it is desperate for comfort. Your harsh judgments and your attempts to ignore it have only made it cry louder. Now, you can choose to be a loving parent to this child. Silently, offer it these words of pure compassion. I see you. I know you are here. I am not going to abandon you. Feel the intention behind these words. You are ceasing the internal war. You are calling a truce. Now, offer it this. It's okay to feel this way. You are allowed to be here. Give it permission to exist. Stop fighting its presence. And finally, offer it the most healing promise of all. I will stay with you. I will hold you with kindness until you feel safe. As you offer these phrases, you might imagine breathing into the sensation. On the in-breath, you gently acknowledge its presence. On the out-breath, you create a sense of softness and space around it. You are not trying to make it go away. You are learning to hold it, to cradle it in a vast, compassionate awareness. You are befriending your own pain. There is a famous story in the Buddhist tradition that beautifully illustrates this journey from personal pain to vast compassion. A young woman named Kisa Gotami had a beloved infant son who fell ill and died. Consumed by a grief so powerful, it bordered on madness. She refused to accept his death. She clutched his small, lifeless body and went from house to house, begging everyone she met for a medicine that could bring him back to life. Some people mocked her, others turned away in pity, but no one could help. Finally, a wise man directed her to the Buddha. She rushed to him, laid her son at his feet, and pleaded for the magic medicine. The Buddha looked at her with eyes of limitless compassion and said, I can help you, but to make the medicine, I need a special ingredient. I need you to bring me a single mustard seed from a house in the village where no one has ever died. Filled with a desperate hope, Kisa Gotami began her quest. At the first house, she asked for the seed. The woman there was happy to give it. But when Kisa Gotami asked, has anyone in this house ever known death? The woman's face fell. Oh, my dear, she said, the living are few, but the dead are many. We lost my father just last year. Kisa Gotami went to the next house, and the next, and the next. The story was the same everywhere. One family had lost a husband, another a mother, another a child, another a sibling. Every single home was touched by the sorrow of loss. As the day wore on and she went from door to door, a profound transformation began to happen within her. Her frantic, desperate focus on her own personal grief began to soften. She started to truly listen to the stories of others. Her heart, which had been clenched tight like a fist around her own pain, began to open. She realized that her suffering was not a unique punishment. The arrow of loss had struck every single person she met. By sunset, she had not found the mustard seed, but she had found something far more precious: understanding. She saw that death was not a personal tragedy that had happened only to her. It was the universal, inescapable nature of life. Her heart broke, but it broke open into a vast space of shared humanity. Her personal grief dissolved into universal compassion. She finally understood. She took the body of her son to the charnel ground, let him go, and return to the Buddha not as a grieving mother, but as a woman who had awakened. Right now, your own suffering can feel intensely personal and isolating. Why is this happening to me? Why can't I sleep? It can feel like you are the only person in the world going through this. But the wisdom of Kisa Gotami is available to you now. Realize that at this very moment, across this city, across this country, across the entire world, there are millions of other people lying awake, just like you. Millions of hearts feeling that same knot of anxiety, that same frustration, that same weary loneliness. You are not alone in this. This is not a personal failure. It is a shared human experience, a part of the great tapestry of life. Can you feel a sense of connection to all of them? Can you imagine breathing in, acknowledging their silent struggle, and as you breathe out, sending them a silent wish for peace and rest in this act? Your suffering is no longer just your own. It becomes a bridge of connection, a doorway to a shared heart. It transforms from a source of isolation into a source of empathy. By holding our own suffering with such tender compassion, our hearts become resilient and vast. We learn that we can be with pain, our own and others, without being destroyed by it. This courageous opening of the heart not only allows us to meet sorrow, but it also prepares us to fully celebrate joy. To create a balanced and healthy mind, our capacity for compassion must be matched by our capacity for delight. And so, to balance our compassionate heart, we must now learn to rejoice in the good fortune and happiness of others, transforming the poison of envy into the pure gold of sympathetic joy. You have opened your heart with great courage, learning to meet your own discomfort with the tender strength of compassion. You have discovered that you are not alone in your struggle, that your experience connects you to the great web of all living beings. This practice of karuna, of feeling with suffering, is a profound and necessary part of the path. But if we only focus on what is difficult, the heart can become heavy. The path to wholeness requires balance. To balance our ability to be with sorrow, we must also cultivate our ability to celebrate joy. This brings us to the third of the great heart practices, a quality known as mudita. Mudita is often translated as sympathetic joy or appreciative joy. It is the genuine, unselfish happiness that we feel when we witness the happiness and success of others. It is the heart's ability to delight in another's good fortune. Mudita is the direct antidote to one of the mind's most toxic habits, the habit of comparison, especially when we are feeling low. As one often does in the middle of a sleepless night, the mind has a cruel tendency to look outward and compare. It whispers, "Everyone else in this house is sleeping peacefully. Everyone else at work has their life together. Look at their success, their happiness. Why not me?" This comparing mind is a master of creating suffering. It takes our own personal difficulty and magnifies it by creating a sense of lack, loneliness, and envy. It constructs a world where happiness is a limited resource, a competition where another's gain is our loss. Mudita shows us a different way. It invites us to step out of this bitter, self-enclosed prison and into a vast, sunlit field of shared celebration. Let us practice cultivating this beautiful quality right now. Allow your mind to settle. Let go of any stories about your own state, and for a moment, bring to mind a person you care for deeply, a good friend or a cherished family member. Now, instead of thinking about their problems or your relationship with them, search for a genuine moment of their happiness. Perhaps they recently had a success at work or enjoyed a beautiful vacation. Maybe they have a loving relationship or simply a passion that brings them great joy. It could be something as simple as picturing them laughing wholeheartedly at a joke or playing with their child or pet. Hold that image, that memory of their happiness in your mind and heart. As you see their joy, notice your own reaction. Is there any part of you that feels a pang of envy? A sense of your own lack in comparison? If so, just acknowledge that with kindness. That is the habit of the comparing mind. And now, see if you can consciously choose to lean into the joy. Let their happiness touch you. Let yourself feel happy for them. Silently offer them these wishes, these affirmations of their joy. I am so happy for you. Your happiness is my happiness. May your joy and good fortune increase. May your light continue to shine brightly. Feel these words in your heart. Let go of the comparison and just allow yourself to bask in the reflected glow of their happiness. There is no scarcity here. You are simply appreciating that joy exists in the world, and you are seeing it embodied in this person you love. Now, let us expand the circle. Bring to mind someone you know more casually, a neutral person, an acquaintance, a neighbor, a colleague. You do not know the details of their life, but you can imagine them experiencing a moment of simple happiness. Perhaps they are enjoying a delicious meal, or listening to their favorite music, or receiving a piece of good news. You don't need to know what it is. Just imagine a look of contentment and joy on their face. And now, offer them the same wish. I am so happy for you. May your happiness continue. Notice what this feels like. You are generating a feeling of joy that is completely unselfish. It is not based on your personal gain. It is the pure celebration of happiness for its own sake. This is a profound training for the heart. It teaches the mind that it can find joy anywhere, not just in its own small, personal victories. There is a simple, yet profound metaphor that captures the essence of mudita. Imagine a single, lit candle in a vast, dark room. Its flame is bright and steady. Now, imagine 1,000 unlit candles are brought into the room. The first candle now moves among them, and from its single flame, it begins to light the others. First 1, then 10, then 100, then all 1,000 candles are burning brightly. The room, once dark, is now flooded with a brilliant, warm light. Now, look back at the original candle. Has its flame been diminished by lighting the others? Has it lost any of its light? Its warmth? Its essence? No. It is exactly as bright as it was at the beginning. In fact, its purpose has been beautifully fulfilled, and it is now part of a much greater illumination. Happiness is exactly like this flame. When we feel envy, we are acting from the mistaken belief that happiness is a limited resource, that another person's flame somehow diminishes our own. But mudita is the wisdom of the candle. It understands that celebrating another person's light takes nothing away from you. It only adds to the total light in the world. When you feel genuine joy for another's success, you are lighting another candle from your own. You are not losing anything. You are participating in the creation of more light, more warmth, more joy in the universe. A mind that is accustomed to celebrating the happiness of others becomes a bright and spacious place. It is a mind that is free from the tight, contracted, and bitter state of envy, and a mind that is light, spacious, and joyful is a mind that can naturally and effortlessly find its way to rest. So rest now in this feeling of shared light. Let go of the need to compare your journey with anyone else's. Your path is your own, but you can still delight in the beautiful scenery on their path. Feel the expansiveness in your heart that comes from this practice. It is a feeling of abundance, of generosity of spirit. You are connected to all the joy that exists in the world. You are a part of it. The laughter of children, the success of a friend, the beauty of a piece of art, the simple contentment of a stranger, all of it is a source of joy that is available to you. If you simply open your heart to it, we have now cultivated 3 of the 4 divine abodes of the heart. We have watered our mind with metta, loving kindness for all beings. We have met suffering with karuna, the tender heart of compassion, and we have celebrated happiness with mudita, the selfless heart of sympathetic joy. These 3 powerful qualities, like 3 legs of a great stool, create a stable and loving foundation, but they are all held in perfect balance, protected from falling into attachment or despair by the 4th and final quality. This quality is the crown jewel of the heart practices, a state of profound balance and unshakable peace that arises from deep wisdom. This is the state of upekkha, or equanimity. We have journeyed through the beautiful landscapes of the heart. We have watered the seed of metta, offering unconditional friendship to ourselves and all beings. We have met suffering with the tender courage of karuna, or compassion, and we have celebrated joy with the selfless delight of mudita. These 3 qualities are the heart's active, engaged response to the world. They are like the sun, the rain, and the gentle breeze. But for a garden to flourish, it also needs the vast, silent, and watchful presence of the sky. This sky of the heart, the quality that holds and balances all the others, is known as upekkha, or equanimity. Equanimity is the crown jewel of the heart practices, a state of profound balance, stability, and unshakable peace. It is often misunderstood in the West as indifference or apathy, a kind of cold detachment. But this could not be further from the truth. Indifference is a state of shutting down, of saying, "I don't care," because you are afraid to feel. It is a form of aversion. Equanimity is a state of radical openness, of saying, "I care deeply, but I will meet whatever comes with a balanced heart." It is born not of fear, but of profound wisdom. It is the peace that comes from seeing the bigger picture, from deeply understanding the law of impermanence that we explored earlier, because you know that all things are arising and passing away. You don't get thrown off balance by their arrival or departure. You remain steady. Let us explore this stability in our own experience. Right now, as you lie here, there is a constant stream of feeling tones passing through your awareness. In the Buddhist tradition, these are broken down into 3 simple categories. There are pleasant feelings, perhaps the softness of your pillow, a happy memory that floats by, a sense of ease in your body. There are unpleasant feelings, an ache in your back, a worrying thought, the frustration of being awake. And then there is the vast majority of our experience, which is neutral, the sound of the air in the room, the feeling of your clothes against your skin, the simple awareness of being here. Our entire life is a dance of these 3 feeling tones. The untrained mind reacts habitually. It clings to the pleasant, pushes away the unpleasant, and ignores the neutral, getting lost in boredom or distraction. The practice of equanimity is to learn to watch this parade of feelings without reacting. It is to let them all come and let them all go. So, let's practice this now. Rest your awareness in your body and mind, and simply notice what feeling tone is present. If a pleasant sensation arises, like a wave of relaxation, just note it silently, pleasant. Enjoy it, but don't cling to it. Know that it is impermanent and will change. Let it go gracefully. If an unpleasant sensation arises, like a tense muscle or an anxious thought, note it unpleasant. Be with it. Don't push it away. Meet it with the compassionate acceptance we have cultivated, knowing that it too is impermanent and will pass. If a neutral sensation arises, note it neutral. Pay attention to it with the same gentle curiosity you give the others. See if you can find the subtle richness even in neutrality, without needing to seek out a more exciting distraction. Pleasant, unpleasant, neutral, they are all just visitors, arriving at the door of your awareness, staying for a moment, and then leaving. You are the spacious, welcoming house. You don't have to leave with every guest that departs. You can remain here, centered, balanced, and at peace. Imagine a great, ancient mountain. It has stood for millions of years. It has seen thousands of seasons come and go. In the summer, the sun beats down upon its peaks. In the autumn, strong winds howl through its valleys. In the winter, it is covered in heavy snow and ice. In the spring, gentle rains wash its face. The weather is constantly changing. It is violent, gentle, hot, cold, wet, and dry. But through it all, the mountain remains. It is not disturbed by the heat. It is not shaken by the wind. It is not defeated by the snow. It accepts all weather with a deep, silent, and unshakable stability. The mountain's essence is not dependent on the weather that plays across its surface. Your deepest awareness can be like this mountain. Your thoughts, your feelings, your bodily sensations, and the circumstances of your life, including being awake or asleep, are the ever-changing weather. The mind, in its habit, gets caught up in the storm. It celebrates the sunshine and curses the rain. But equanimity is the practice of realizing that you are not the weather. You are the mountain. You can learn to be with the pleasant feeling of relaxation without clinging to it. You can be with the unpleasant feeling of anxiety without being shaken by it. You can rest in the vast, stable presence of your own being, allowing the ever-changing weather of your experience to simply come and go. This is a state of profound power and peace. This mountain-like stability is the ultimate state of letting go. Especially in relation to sleep, you have done the work. You have relaxed your body. You have watched your thoughts. You have cultivated a kind and compassionate heart. Now, you can let go of the outcome. The precise moment that sleep arrives is like the weather, ultimately not in your control. To demand it arrive at a certain time is to be shaken by the winds of desire. Equanimity is the wisdom to say, I have created all the right conditions for rest. Now, I will let nature take its course. Whether I lie here awake in a state of peace, or whether I drift into sleep, I will meet this moment with a balanced heart. There is no more striving. There is no more aversion. There is no more comparison. There is only a vast, open, and peaceful acceptance of what is. This is the eye of the storm. It is the stillness at the center of all movement. And paradoxically, this total surrender, this absolute letting be, creates the most fertile ground from which sleep can spontaneously and effortlessly arise. Resting in this vast, mountain-like equanimity, the heart finds its true, unshakable home, with a mind now strengthened and softened by these four sublime qualities, by loving kindness, by compassion, by sympathetic joy. And now by this profound balance, we are no longer so easily tricked by the mind's old habits. We are like a seasoned traveler who knows the landscape and can't be fooled by mirages. We can now turn our attention back to the specific thoughts and narratives that used to trap us. But we can look at them with these new, wise, and compassionate eyes. We are finally ready to gently and skillfully deconstruct the very stories we tell ourselves, especially the powerful, identity-forming story of I am a person who can't sleep. Resting here, in this vast and stable space of equanimity, you have become the mountain. The changing weather of your thoughts and feelings can no longer shake you to your core. From this high vantage point, with this clear view, you can now look down upon the landscape of your mind and see the well-worn paths of your thinking for what they are. You can see the stories. The human mind is, above all else, a storyteller. It takes the chaotic, disconnected moments of our lives and weaves them into a narrative. It creates a story to make sense of the world. And at the center of that story, it places a main character, me. These stories, when told over and over again, become our identity. We are not just a person who felt anxious once. We become an anxious person. We are not just someone who failed at a task. We become a failure. And for many of us, we are not just a person who is having a difficult night. We have cast ourselves in the lead role of a tragic drama titled, I Am a Bad Sleeper. Let's look closely at how this story is created and how it sustains itself. It begins with a few difficult nights. The mind, seeking a pattern, collects these nights like stones. Then it starts to ignore any evidence that contradicts the emerging story. The nights you slept reasonably well, it dismisses them as flukes. As exceptions to the rule, the story solidifies. I'm just not a good sleeper. Once this belief, this identity, takes hold, it begins to act as a powerful filter on your reality. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You get into bed, and the story immediately begins to play. The mind whispers, "Here we go again. It's going to be another bad night." This very thought, this expectation of a struggle, is the first act that creates the struggle. It triggers a subtle release of stress hormones. It creates tension in the body. It puts you on high alert, looking for the first sign of the enemy wakefulness. And when you are, inevitably, still awake 10 minutes later, the storyteller says, "See, I told you so. This is who you are." The story has proven itself true, and the loop is complete. The narrative itself has become one of the primary causes of your sleeplessness. But tonight, from this place of calm awareness, you do not have to believe the story. You can become a gentle detective, a compassionate journaliste, and you can begin to question the storyteller. The mind deals in dramatic absolutes, so we will challenge them with gentle, honest questions. The story says, "I always have trouble sleeping." Ask yourself, with genuine curiosity, is that really true? Always? Has there never been a single night in your entire life when you have slept well? Has there never been a period, perhaps years ago, or even just last week, when you fell asleep without much trouble? The absolute word always crumbles under the light of honest inquiry. The story says, "I will never get a good night's sleep." Ask yourself, can you truly know the future? Is it absolutely certain that for the rest of your life, not a single night of good sleep awaits you? Of course not. The word never is a phantom of fear, not a statement of fact. Now, let's separate the raw fact from the dramatic story. The simple, observable fact of this moment might be the body is lying in bed and the eyes are open. That is all. It is a neutral, physical reality. The story the mind layers on top of that fact is, "This is a disaster. I am a terrible sleeper, and I am failing at this. Tomorrow will be ruined because of my inability to function properly." Can you see the immense difference? The fact is a small, smooth stone. The story is a heavy, jagged boulder of suffering that you are choosing to carry. You can practice letting go of the story and simply staying with the fact. The body is awake. That's it. No judgment, no catastrophe, just a state of being. By refusing to add the second layer of narrative, you rob the suffering of its fuel. You are left with a simple reality, not a personal failure. There is a beautiful way to think about these identities we adopt. Imagine a truly great actor. On Monday night, he plays the role of a powerful king. He walks like a king. He speaks like a king. And on stage, he feels the pride and burden of a king. The audience believes he is the king. On Tuesday night, he plays a penniless beggar. He huddles in the cold. He speaks with desperation, and he feels the gnawing hunger and despair of the beggar. The audience weeps for his plight. On Wednesday, he is a cruel villain. And on Thursday, a noble hero. He can inhabit any of these roles with total conviction. But when the play is over, He goes backstage. He takes off the king's crown or the beggar's rags. He wipes off the makeup, and he goes home. He does not continue to act like a king in his own kitchen. He does not believe he truly is the villain. Why? Because he knows he is the actor, not the role. He knows the role is a temporary costume he puts on to tell a story. For a long time now, you have been playing the role of the insomniac. You have learnt the lines perfectly. You have worn the costume of anxiety and frustration so often that you have mistaken it for your own skin. You have been playing the part so convincingly that you have forgotten that you are the actor. But you are the vast, silent awareness that is playing this role. And tonight, you can choose to let the curtain fall. You can decide to take off the costume. This doesn't mean you will instantly fall asleep. It means you are letting go of the identity of being a bad sleeper. You are no longer defined by it. When you are no longer the insomniac, you are simply a person, a human being of vast, open consciousness that is, for this particular moment in time, experiencing a state of wakefulness. The shame is gone, the failure is gone, the heavy, burdensome identity has been set down, and the lightness and freedom that remain are extraordinary. By letting go of this limiting story, a great weight is lifted from your heart. And as we look closer at this story of being a bad sleeper, we can see that it was just one chapter in a much larger, more epic book that the ego loves to write. It is the story of the self in control, the belief that we are, or should be, the all-powerful manager of our own lives, the one who must figure everything out, fix every problem, and make everything happen according to plan. This deep-seated belief in our own executive control is perhaps the final and most subtle story we must learn to see through. And so, the final layer of our letting go is to question this fundamental narrative and to explore the profound wisdom of releasing the very need for control. We have peeled back a powerful layer of illusion, seeing that the identity of the bad sleeper is just a story, a role we have been playing. This brings a great sense of freedom. But as we look closer, we see that this role was just one character in a much grander production, an epic drama written and directed by the ego. The title of this epic is The Self in Control. At the very core of our modern anxiety is this deep-seated belief: I am in charge. I am the manager of my life, and it is my job to control outcomes, solve all problems, and steer this ship safely through the waters of existence. And when we can't, when the stock market falls, when a relationship ends, or when sleep will not come, we feel like a failure. We believe we have failed at our most fundamental job, the job of being in control. Tonight, we will investigate this belief and explore the profound liberation that comes from its release. Let us begin by examining the evidence. Right now, in the stillness of your body, countless miracles are unfolding without any conscious intervention from you. Is your conscious mind directing the beating of your heart? Are you telling your lungs how to exchange oxygen for carbon dioxide? Are you personally overseeing the digestion of your last meal? Or instructing your cells on how to divide and repair? No. These vital, life-sustaining processes are being conducted by a deep, innate intelligence that is far older and wiser than your thinking mind. Your body is a self-regulating masterpiece, a universe of processes that function perfectly without the CEO of your ego needing to approve a single memo. If we do not control these most essential functions of life, what makes us believe that we can, or should, micromanage the delicate and mysterious process of falling asleep? The idea that I must make myself sleep is an act of profound arrogance. It is the thinking mind trying to take over a job for which it is completely unqualified. A job that belongs to the deep wisdom of the body. This brings us to the wisdom of surrender. In our culture, the word surrender often carries a negative charge. It implies defeat, weakness, giving up, and failure. But in the context of wisdom traditions, surrender is the ultimate act of strength and intelligence. It is not a passive giving up, it is an active, conscious giving over. It is the choice to entrust the process to an intelligence greater than your own worried mind. It is the strength to let go of the illusion of control, an illusion that was causing you immense stress and exhaustion. It is an alignment with the flow of reality, rather than a futile battle against it. A drowning person who panics and thrashes against the water will quickly exhaust themselves and sink. But the person who relaxes, who surrenders to the natural buoyancy of the water, will float. Surrender, in this sense, is not defeat. It is the key to survival and peace. Imagine a wise and patient gardener. She wants to grow a beautiful flower. She does all the things that are within her power to do. She prepares the soil, removing rocks and weeds. She plants the seed at just the right depth and at the right time of year. She provides the seed with water and ensures it has access to the sun. She protects it from pests. She does all of this with great skill and care. These are her responsibilities. But now, her most important work begins the work of letting go. She cannot dig up the seed every day to see if it is growing. She cannot pull on the sprout at night to try and make it grow faster. She knows that to do so would be to violate the process and destroy the very thing she loves. She has to surrender. She has to trust in the mysterious, intelligent life force within the seed. She has to trust in the sun, the rain, and the soil. Her job was to create the right conditions. The miracle of growth itself is not hers to command. She trusts the process. Tonight, you have been this wise gardener. You have prepared the soil of your mind by letting go of the past and future. You have removed the weeds of self-judgment by cultivating loving kindness and compassion. You have done the work that is yours to do. Now is the time for the final, most crucial step of the gardener, the wisdom of surrender. You cannot make sleep grow. You cannot pull on the sprout. Any attempt to force it will only disturb the delicate process. Your final act is to create the conditions for rest, and then to trust the profound, innate wisdom of your body to do what it has known how to do since you were an infant. Your only remaining task is to get out of its way. So let this be a conscious and deliberate act. You can say to yourself, as a clear intention in the mind, I have done enough. I am now letting go of control. I am handing the job of falling asleep over to my body. I trust its wisdom. Feel this not just as a thought, but as a physical release. Feel the last remaining muscles of striving in your forehead, your jaw, your shoulders finally give up their hold. Feel your entire body grow heavy, yielding its full weight to the bed, to the pull of gravity. Imagine you are a block of ice, melting into a warm ocean. There is no effort. There is just a softening, a dissolving, a letting go. You are putting down the heavy tools of trying and fixing. You are relieving yourself of the impossible job of being the manager of the universe. Can you feel the immense relief in this? The sheer exhaustion of trying to control everything gives way to a profound sense of peace. The burden is lifted. You are no longer responsible for the outcome. You are free. You have given yourself over to a process that is larger than your small, anxious self. You are floating, not thrashing. You are resting in the palm of a great, intelligent, and benevolent mystery. You have finally and truly let go. With this final, profound act of surrender, the striving mind at last grows quiet. The manager has left the building. The fixer has put down his tools. A deep stillness settles over the landscape of your mind. And in this new and spacious quiet, something remarkable can happen. You can begin to listen, not for any particular sound, like a car or a clock, but to the very fabric of silence that holds all sound. You can now learn to listen to the silence between the sounds, a practice that can lead you into the deepest and most restorative peace of all. In the profound quiet that follows complete surrender, a new kind of perception becomes possible. The part of your mind that strives and fixes, the inner manager who has been working so hard all day, has finally gone off duty. A deep and welcome stillness has settled. For most of our lives, we have treated silence as a mere absence of noise, a blank emptiness that we rush to fill. But this is a misunderstanding. True silence is not an absence. It is a presence. It is the vast, boundless container in which all sounds are born, and into which they all dissolve. Silence is the sky. Sound is a bird that flies through it. Our habit is to only notice the bird. Tonight, we will learn to appreciate the sky. We will learn to listen to the silence. Let us begin with the sounds that are present in your room right now. Without moving, without even opening your eyes, simply allow your ears to open. Become a passive receiver, like a sensitive microphone, taking in the entire soundscape around you. Do not search for sounds. Let them come to you. You might hear the low hum of an appliance, the whisper of air from a vent, the distant rumble of late-night traffic, the ticking of a clock. Ordinarily, the mind would immediately label these sounds and judge them. That fan is annoying. That car is loud. For now, see if you can let go of the labels. Experience the sounds not as things, but as pure patterns of vibration arising in the field of your awareness. Notice how each sound has a life of its own. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. A car approaches from a distance. Its sound swells. It passes by your window, and then its sound fades back into nothingness. Where did the sound come from? It came from the silence. Where did it go? It returned to the silence. The silence was here before the sound of the car, and it is here after the sound of the car. The silence is the constant. The sound is the temporary event. Now, Shift your attention. Instead of focusing on the sounds themselves, see if you can focus on the great, silent space in which they are happening. Notice the silence that exists between each tick of the clock. Notice the vast stillness that is underneath the hum of the fan. The sounds are like stars in the night sky. We usually only notice the stars, but their true beauty is that they reveal the sheer vastness of the dark, silent space behind them. Let the sounds around you serve this purpose. Let them be pointers, highlighting the immensity of the silence that is already here. Now, we can turn this same practice inward. Just as there are sounds in the external world, there are sounds in our internal world. These are our thoughts. Thoughts, just like external sounds, arise in the mind. They exist for a moment, and then they dissolve. We have spent so much of this journey learning to watch these thoughts without being swept away by them. Now, we will refine our listening. We will listen not for the thoughts themselves, but for the space between them. In the continuous chatter of the mind, there are always tiny gaps, brief moments of pure, thought-free silence. They may last only a fraction of a second, but they are profoundly peaceful. They are portals into the stillness that is your true nature. You cannot force these gaps to appear. The intention to find them is enough. Simply rest your awareness on your own stream of thought. As if you were sitting by a river, watch the thoughts float by and become very interested, very curious about the space where one thought ends and the next one has not yet begun. Be ready to notice it. At first, you may not. The thoughts may seem to be linked in an endless chain, but with patience, you will notice it. A tiny flicker of quiet, a momentary pause in the commentary. When you do, simply rest in it. Do not try to prolong it. Do not get excited. Just acknowledge that you have touched the silence. The more you value it, the more you learn to recognize it, the more often it will seem to appear. You are shifting your allegiance from the noise of the mind to the peace of the silence that holds it. You are discovering that you are not the chatter. You are the quiet that is aware of the chatter. Imagine a beautiful, ancient book. It is filled with incredible stories. There are stories of love and war, of great adventure and profound tragedy, of comedy and of wisdom. When we read the book, our attention is completely captured by the words, by the characters, by the drama of the plot. We laugh with the heroes and weep for the lovers. We get completely lost in the story. But in doing so, we forget something essential. We forget that all of these stories, every single word, every dramatic event is only possible because of the quiet, unassuming presence of the blank, white page beneath them. The page is the foundation for every story. The page itself is never wounded by the tragic tale, nor is it puffed up with pride by the heroic one. Its own nature remains pure, white, and untouched by the content it holds. The page is always at peace. Your awareness is this white page. Your thoughts are the words, the stories written upon it. For most of your life, you have been completely absorbed in the stories, believing you are the story of your life. But now, You are learning to shift your attention. You are learning to feel the nature of the page itself. You are learning to rest in the pure, silent, untouched awareness that holds all of your thoughts, all of your feelings, all of your experiences. This silent awareness is your true refuge. It is always here. It has never been harmed by any difficult thought. It has never been stained by any painful memory. It is always and forever at peace. So now, let go of all techniques. Let go of watching the breath, or scanning the body, or even listening for the silence. Simply rest. Rest as the silence itself. Rest as the vast, open, peaceful awareness that is silently witnessing this moment. There is nothing to do, nothing to achieve. You have already arrived. You are home. This silence you are discovering is not an empty void. It is full of peace, full of potential. It is the discovery of a boundless space within you. Realizing this inner space gives us a powerful new metaphor for our own mind, not as a busy, crowded room filled with noisy thoughts, but as a vast, open sky, capable of holding any kind of weather without ever being harmed by it. Let us now turn our gaze to this inner sky and learn to rest in its limitless expanse. You are resting in the silence, that vast and peaceful presence that holds all experience. This discovery of inner space is a profound homecoming. It can be helpful to give this spacious awareness a form, an image that the mind can hold lightly as it drifts towards sleep. So let us use one of the most powerful metaphors for the nature of mind, the metaphor of the sky. I invite you to imagine that your mind, your true nature, is not the small, chattering thing you have always believed it to be. Imagine that it is as vast, as open, as limitless as a clear blue sky. Feel that sense of boundless expanse within you and all around you. It has no edges and no center. It is pure, open, and free. Now, in this vast sky of mind, all of your thoughts, your feelings, your memories, and your sensations are like the weather. They are like clouds that drift through the sky. Sometimes, the clouds are light, white, and puffy. These are your happy thoughts, your pleasant memories, your feelings of peace and contentment. They drift lazily across your inner sky, beautiful to behold, and you can enjoy them without needing to grab onto them. At other times, the weather changes. Dark, heavy storm clouds begin to gather. These are your anxious thoughts, your difficult memories, your feelings of anger, sadness, or restlessness. They can seem ominous and all-encompassing. The sky might grow dark, the winds might begin to howl, and flashes of lightning might illuminate the turmoil. And sometimes, a thick fog rolls in. This is the mind of confusion, of doubt, when you can't see clearly at all. For most of our lives, we make a fundamental mistake. When the weather is beautiful, we think, what a lovely day. When the weather is stormy, we think, what a terrible day. We completely forget about the sky. We identify with the weather. When a dark cloud of anxiety appears, we point to it and say, "That is me. I am anxious." We shrink our entire identity down to the size of that one storm cloud, and we feel small, dark, and turbulent. We believe we are the storm, but this is an illusion. The sky is never, ever harmed by the weather. The most violent hurricane does not leave a single scratch or scar upon the sky. The thickest, darkest clouds do not stain the sky's essential nature. The sky doesn't have to fight the storm or push it away. It has a much greater power, the power of its own vastness. It simply allows the storm to be the storm. It provides the space for the storm to arise, to unleash its energy, and, in its own time, to pass. And what remains when the storm has passed? The sky. The clear, peaceful, blue sky was there all along, patiently waiting behind the clouds. This is the great secret. You are not the clouds. You are the sky. Your thoughts and feelings, no matter how intense or persistent they seem, are just temporary weather patterns passing through the vast, open space of your awareness. The awareness that is you is never harmed, never stained, never diminished by any thought or feeling. This awareness is inherently peaceful, whole, and free. Realizing this, truly feeling this, is the beginning of ultimate freedom. You can stop being a victim of your own mental weather. Let us practice resting as the sky right now. Close your eyes, if they are not already, and bring this image to mind. See your awareness as a wide open, boundless sky. And now, simply watch the weather of your mind as it unfolds. There is no need to change it or control it. Just observe. A thought about tomorrow might drift by like a long, grey cloud. Let it come and let it go. A pleasant sensation of warmth in your body might appear like a soft, sunlit cloud. Enjoy its presence without clinging to it. A sudden jolt of restlessness, a storm cloud, might try to gather energy. Don't fight it. Don't push it away. Be the sky. Allow it the space to be there. Notice its energy, its texture, its shape, all from the vast, stable perspective of the sky that you are. You are so much bigger than this one cloud. It cannot harm you. It is just weather. You will notice that the sky does not have to do anything to the clouds. It doesn't blow them away or try to poke holes in them so the sun can shine through. Its power is in its passive, allowing nature. In the same way, you don't have to do anything to your thoughts. The very act of trying to get rid of a thought is a form of struggle, a form of identifying with the weather. The practice of being the sky is the practice of radical non-interference. You simply rest as the vast, open, witnessing presence, and you allow the clouds of your experience to drift by on their own. Some may linger for a while. Others will pass quickly. It doesn't matter. Your job is not to be the weather forecaster or the cloud chaser. Your job is to be the sky. Feel the profound peace in this. Feel the spaciousness and the freedom. You are no longer trapped inside the small, dark storm cloud of your anxiety. You are the vast, open sky that is holding the storm cloud with an effortless, boundless embrace. The storm may still be there, but it is no longer the entirety of your reality. It is just a small, temporary event happening in one corner of your limitless being, resting as the sky. You find a peace that is not dependent on having a clear and cloudless mind. You find a peace that is deep enough and vast enough to be present even in the midst of a storm. This is the unshakable peace that is your true nature. It has been here all along, waiting for you to recognize it. Resting as this vast, open sky, you feel a sense of profound peace and abundance. This spaciousness is your true home. And into this clear, open space of awareness, we can now choose to plant the most beautiful and nourishing seeds. We can consciously choose to water the seeds of appreciation for all that we have, rather than focusing on the clouds of what we lack. Let us now allow a gentle, healing rain of gratitude to fall upon the landscape of our mind, nourishing everything it touches and preparing the ground for the deepest rest. You are resting as the vast, open sky, allowing the clouds of thought and feeling to drift by without resistance. A profound peace arises from this spaciousness. This clear, open sky of your awareness is now the perfect ground for the most beautiful seeds to be planted. Up until now, much of our journey has been about letting go, about releasing the burdens of the past, the anxieties of the future, the stories and the striving. Now, in this final stage of our journey toward rest, we turn from the practice of releasing to the practice of receiving. We will consciously and gently water the seeds of appreciation, allowing a gentle rain of gratitude to fall upon the landscape of the mind. For the mind, left to its own devices, has a peculiar and unhelpful habit. It has what psychologists call a negativity bias. It is like Velcro for negative experiences and Teflon for positive ones. At the end of the day, it will obsess over the one critical comment someone made and completely forget the 10 compliments. It will focus on what is wrong, what is missing, what is lacking in our lives. Gratitude is the gentle, deliberate, and powerful antidote to this bias. It is the conscious training of our attention. It is the practice of turning the mind again and again toward what is good, what is present, what we have received. This simple shift in focus is one of an alchemy. It transforms a mindset of poverty into a mindset of abundance. Not by changing our external circumstances, but by changing the lens through which we view them. And a mind that feels abundant, that feels cared for and content, is a mind that can finally rest. So let us begin this gentle practice. Let your mind drift back over the day that has just passed. But this time, you are not looking for problems to solve or regrets to analyze. You are a treasure hunter, and you are searching only for small, overlooked jewels of goodness. Don't look for big, dramatic events. Look for the simple things. Perhaps it was the taste of your first cup of coffee or tea this morning. For that one moment, there was warmth and comfort, silently, in your heart. Say, "Thank you for that." Perhaps it was a moment of connection with someone, a shared laugh, a kind word, a supportive smile. Remember that feeling and say, Thank you. Maybe it was a simple sensory pleasure, the feeling of warm sun on your skin, the beauty of a song you heard, the comfort of a warm shower. Let the memory of that simple goodness arise and offer a quiet thank you. See if you can find 3 such moments, 3 small jewels from your day. By acknowledging them, you honor them. You tell your mind that these moments matter. You are retraining it to see the good that is always present, but so often overlooked. Now, let us bring this gratitude even closer to home. Let us offer it to this very body that is lying here. Our relationship with our bodies can be complicated. We judge their appearance. We get frustrated with their limitations, their aches, their illnesses. But for just this moment, let us set all of that aside and appreciate this body for the incredible, faithful vessel it is. Offer a silent thank you to your heart, which has been beating tirelessly for you every second of every day of your entire life, without ever asking for a single word of thanks. Offer gratitude to your lungs, which have drawn in the breath of life over and over again, keeping you alive. Thank your legs for carrying you, your arms for holding, your hands for creating. This body, in all its imperfection, is the only home you have in this life. It is a miracle of biology. Feel a wave of gentle appreciation for it, for its resilience, for its service. And now, feel gratitude for the simple, immediate comforts that surround you. Feel the softness of the pillow that is cradling your head. What a profound gift. This simple softness. Feel the warmth and weight of the blanket that covers you. A gift of security and comfort. Feel the support of the mattress beneath you, holding your body completely, allowing it to finally let go. Be grateful for the roof over your head, for the safety and shelter of this room. These are the things we so easily take for granted, but for billions of people, they are unimaginable luxuries. By feeling gratitude for these simple things, we transform them. The bed is no longer just a bed. It becomes a sanctuary. The blanket is no longer just a blanket. It is an embrace. The room is no longer just a room. It is a haven of peace. There is an old story of a poor beggar who had nothing in the world except for a simple wooden bowl. He used it every day to collect the rice or coins that people would give him. Every night, before he slept, he would hold the bowl in his hands. He would not lament its emptiness or its chipped edges. Instead, he would whisper to it, "Thank you. Thank you for being my faithful companion. Thank you for holding the food that gave me life today. You are a good bowl." Because of this daily practice, his bowl was not, to him, a symbol of his poverty. It was a treasure. It was a sacred vessel, a constant source of abundance. His gratitude had transformed the ordinary into the sacred. His inner world was one of riches, even if his outer world was one of poverty. Our life, our body, our bed, these are our bowls. We can see them as mundane, imperfect, and lacking, or through the transformative power of gratitude, we can see them as the sacred treasures they truly are. This feeling of gratitude, of appreciation, creates a profound shift in our entire being. It creates a feeling of fullness, of contentment, of being cared for. The anxious, striving mind that always feels something is missing is finally silenced by the gentle, pervasive feeling that right here, in this moment, all is well. I have enough. I am enough. I am safe. This feeling of deep contentment is one of the most powerful and natural invitations to sleep there. It is a signal to your entire nervous system that the battle is over, the search is done, and it is finally safe to enter the profound surrender of deep rest. This warm feeling of gratitude, of being held and cared for, naturally begins to dissolve the illusion of our separateness. We realize that we are not isolated islands. The good things in our day came through others. The food we ate was grown by the earth and by human hands. The comfort we feel is a gift of our shelter and our community. We are part of a vast, interconnected web of life. The very air we are breathing right now, the life force that animates our being, it is not ours alone. It is shared by all beings, by the trees, by the sky, by the entire universe itself. And so, we can now take the final step in dissolving the small, separate self by feeling our deep connection to the very breath of the universe. That warm, expansive feeling of gratitude has opened your heart. And in that openness, you begin to sense a profound truth. You are not separate. The good things you are grateful for, the food, the air, the kindness of others, all come from a world outside the confines of your own skin. This feeling of connection is a doorway to one of the most peaceful and liberating realizations we can have. And the key to unlocking this door is the very breath you are breathing right now. So let us turn our attention back to this simple, faithful anchor, but with a new and expanded perspective. As you breathe in, contemplate the journey this air has taken to reach you. This is not your private air. This is the air of the world. These very molecules of oxygen may have been released by a giant redwood tree in a distant forest. They may have been part of a cloud that drifted over a vast ocean. They may have been part of the gentle breeze that cooled the face of a loved one. And just a moment ago, they were part of the great, shared atmosphere of this planet. As you draw the breath in, you are drawing the entire world into yourself. The boundary between you and the world begins to dissolve. Now, as you breathe out, feel the air leaving your body, warming as it passes your lips, and rejoining that great, shared atmosphere. You are giving a gift back to the world. A plant nearby might take in your out-breath. It becomes part of the wind that rustles the leaves. There is a constant, intimate exchange happening. In, you receive the world. Out, you give yourself back to the world. There is no hard and fast border. There is only this constant, rhythmic flow, this sacred dance of giving and receiving. Now, expand your awareness from the substance of the breath to its rhythm. Feel the slow, steady rise and fall of your own chest and abdomen, and feel how this personal rhythm echoes the great rhythms of the universe. The gentle rise of your inhalation is like the swelling of the ocean tide as it flows toward the shore. The gentle fall of your exhalation is like the tide receding back into the great deep. This slow, steady pulse within you is the same pulse that governs the turning of the seasons, the great in-breath of spring and summer, and the long, slow out-breath of autumn and winter. It is the turning of day into night, and night back into day. Your small, personal rhythm is not separate from these great, cosmic rhythms. You are a part of the universal pulse of life. You are in tune with the heartbeat of the cosmos. There is a beautiful metaphor for this relationship between our individual self and the great whole of life. Imagine you are a single wave in a vast ocean. As a wave, you have a unique existence. You are born out of the calm, deep. You begin to rise. You form a crest with a particular shape and size. You might look at the other waves around you. Some are bigger, some are smaller. You might feel proud of your height or anxious about your smallness. You have a life story. You travel a certain distance, and you can see the shore approaching from your perspective as a wave. You might feel a sense of fear about this. You might think, I am going to crash upon the shore and then I will be gone. I will die. From the wave's point of view, its individual existence is all that matters. And its end seems like a terrifying annihilation. But now, let us shift our perspective. Let us become the ocean. The ocean feels the wave rising as a temporary expression of its own energy. The ocean knows that the wave is never, for a single moment, separate from it. The very substance of the wave, the thing that makes it what it is water. It is pure ocean. The ocean knows that the wave's unique shape and journey are just a temporary dance on its surface, and when the wave crashes on the shore, the ocean feels no sense of loss. The water is not destroyed. It simply returns to its source, ready to become part of another wave, or to rest in the calm, silent deep. The wave's true nature was never its shape. Its true nature was water. It was always, and will always be, the ocean. You are this wave. Your body, your name, your personality, your memories, your struggles with sleep. This is the unique shape and story of your individual wave. And it is beautiful, but you have forgotten your true nature. You have forgotten that you are the ocean, your essential being, the awareness that is looking out through your eyes, the consciousness that is experiencing all of this. That is the ocean of life itself. The small, separate self, the wave, is the one that feels afraid, that feels alone, that struggles and strives. It is the wave that is terrified of not getting enough sleep. But the ocean is not afraid. The ocean is not in a hurry. The ocean does not try to rest. The ocean is rest. It is the deep, dark, silent peace that underlies all motion. So, in this moment, can you let go of your identification with the wave? Can you release the story of the small, separate self who is struggling, and instead rest in your true nature as the vast, peaceful ocean? Feel your body as a temporary form, a dance of energy upon your own boundless surface, and feel your breath with this new understanding. It is no longer a case of I am breathing. That is the wave's perspective. From the ocean's perspective, the truth is, I am being breathed. The universe is breathing through this form. Life is living itself through me. This is the final surrender. It is a release not just of control, but of the controller itself. There is no small me that needs to do anything. There is only the vast, intelligent, peaceful ocean of being and the gentle, rhythmic tide of the breath flowing through it, resting here. As the ocean itself, feeling the breath of the universe flowing through you, all struggle ceases. The small, anxious wave has returned to its source. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to fix, nothing left to hold on to. The very idea of a problem to be solved has dissolved along with the small self who believed it had the problem. All that is left now is to give yourself the final, loving permission to completely let go, to drift into the deep, silent, and nourishing darkness of sleep, which is nothing more than the ocean returning to its own peaceful depths. We have journeyed to the very edge of the self and found ourselves resting as the vast, boundless ocean of being. We have felt the universe breathing through us, a rhythm as ancient and steady as the tides. From this place of deep connection and profound peace, there is nowhere left to go, nothing left to do. The journey is complete. All the techniques, all the practices, all the stories we have explored tonight have served their purpose. They were the boat that has carried you from the shore of restless striving to this shore of serene acceptance. And now that you have arrived on this shore, you can do the most graceful thing of all. You can step out of the boat and leave it behind. So now, with a final, gentle intention, let go of the practice itself. Let go of watching your breath. The breath will continue, all on its own. Let go of scanning your body. The body is at rest. Let go of trying to be the sky, or the mountain, or the ocean. You already are. You no longer need the metaphor. And even let go of the silent, watchful observer, the witness that has been your faithful companion on this journey. The witness has done its noble work, and now it too deserves to rest. Let go of the need to be aware. Let go of the need to be mindful. Let go of any effort to be a certain way. All doing, even the subtle doing of watching, can now cease. You are stepping into the final, sacred space of pure being. In this space, you can offer yourself the last and most important instruction of the night. It is not a command, but a loving whisper from your deepest self to your tired mind. It is the final permission, silently, in your heart. You can offer these words, let them sink in, not as ideas, but as a felt reality. It is all done now. There is nothing more to do. There is nothing to fix, nothing to solve, and no one to be. I give myself full and complete permission to let go. I give myself permission to rest deeply. It is safe to surrender. All is well. Repeat these words, or any words that feel true to you, as a final, loving release. You are giving yourself the key to the last door. Imagine a single, perfect leaf on the branch of a tall tree, all through the spring and summer. It was busy. It was working hard, drinking in the sunlight, converting it to energy, helping the tree to grow. It was full of purpose and striving. This was its time of doing. But now, it is autumn. The days grow shorter. The air grows cool. The work of the leaf is done. Its vibrant green has turned to a brilliant gold, and it now begins the final, most graceful act of its life, the act of letting go. A subtle change happens at the point where its stem meets the branch. The connection that was once so strong and vital begins to soften, to release its grip. The leaf does not have to decide when to fall. It does not have to jump. It does not have to try to fly. It simply has to trust the process. It has to allow its connection to the branch to dissolve, and then, at just the right moment, a gentle breeze comes along, and the leaf effortlessly lets go. It doesn't fall in a straight line. It drifts. It dances. It spirals on the currents of the air, surrendering completely to the forces of wind and gravity. It is a final, beautiful dance of pure release, ending in a soft landing on the quiet earth below, where it will rest and nourish the soil for a new season of growth. You, right now, are this autumn leaf. Your day of doing, of working, of striving is over. The connection to the busy, active world can now be allowed to soften, and your final task is simply this: to let go of the branch, to release your grip on wakefulness, on control, on the very sense of a you that is holding on. You do not have to force yourself to sleep. You do not have to jump into the void. You simply have to let go and allow the natural, gentle forces of your own body and mind to carry you. So feel this surrender now in every fiber of your being. Feel the last remnants of tension in your muscles finally dissolving. Feel the edges of your body beginning to soften, melting into the support of the bed beneath you. Feel your mind, no longer needing to hold on to any thought or any idea, becoming soft and porous. There is a deep, gravitational pull toward rest, towards silence, toward the nourishing darkness of sleep. Allow yourself to yield to it. Let yourself sink. Let yourself drift. Let yourself fall backward into a great, soft pillow of darkness. This is not a frightening void. It is the restorative void. It is the dark, fertile soil in which all seeds rest before they sprout. It is the deep, silent ocean returning to itself. It is the great mystery from which all life emerges, and to which it returns to be healed and renewed. Do not look for sleep. Do not wait for it. Sleep is not an achievement to be won. It is a grace that is received. It can only arrive when you have created an empty, open, and welcoming space for it. It can only enter when the host, the busy I, has finally left the building. You have done everything you can. You have journeyed so far tonight. You have been so kind, so patient, and now there is nothing left, nothing at all. Nothing but the slow, gentle drift into peace. Let the current take you. Let the darkness embrace you. Let yourself unravel. Let go. Let go. Let go now. Drift. Sink. Sleep. And so, you are here, floating, drifting in the quiet, peaceful ocean of your own being. Our journey began on the shore of a restless night, feeling trapped by a tired body and a mind that would not cease its spinning. We felt the immense weight of yesterday's water and the anxious pull of tomorrow's horizon. But with gentle patience, we chose a different path. We did not fight the mind, but befriended it. We did not dam the river of thought, but learned to sit peacefully on its bank. We returned home to the wisdom of the body and found our most faithful anchor in the simple, steady rhythm of the breath. We journeyed deeper, discovering that we are not the fleeting clouds of thought and feeling, but the vast, open sky in which they pass. We are not the temporary, anxious wave, but the deep, serene, and eternal ocean itself. We have learned to hold our own struggles with a tender compassion and to let go, finally, of the need to be in control. The greatest secret we have uncovered tonight is this: peace was never a distant destination you had to fight to reach. It was here all along, waiting beneath the noise of our striving, like the silent ground beneath our feet. And sleep is not a prize to be won, or an enemy to be conquered. It is a gentle guest, a loving friend who can only visit when the house of our being is quiet, open, and ready to welcome it. The letting go we have practiced is not an act of losing, but the ultimate act of finding freedom, finding peace, finding our way home. You now have everything you need. The anchor of your breath is always with you. The vast sky of your awareness is always your nature. The capacity for kindness in your own heart is limitless. You can return to this peace, to this spaciousness, whenever you choose. It is your birthright. Now, it is time to let everything go. Let my voice dissolve into the silence. Let all words and all thoughts fade away. There is nothing left to do. Trust the deep peace you have cultivated. Trust the quiet. You are safe. You are whole. All is well. Rest now. Sleep deep.